Special effects budget already blown, better use shadows. Dumbledore leaves Harry with his head relatives knowing full well they will abuse and mistreat him for years to come. There's no Harry Potter scar on this imposter baby. Oh, there it is. Guess the makeup guys finally showed up on set. Snakes don't have eyelids. Movie hits the bankers or trolls symbolism a little too on the nose. Hey, they said an owl, a cat, or a toad, but nobody said your magic animal could be a rat. Hermione isn't old enough to be hot yet. Harry switches sides of the table in a matter of seconds. So Hogwarts is basically a death trap turned into a school. Co-ed dorms for 11-year-olds. Harry takes notes in poetic couplets. Snape takes points from Gryffindor because a little kid who just found out he's a wizard like a day ago doesn't know all the answers to the wizard questions. Snape is a dick. You would not leave a group of 11-year-old students alone like this, whether they were wizards or not. Their case changes randomly at a time convenient to the plot.
You're saying it wrong.
Hey, Bossy Pants, he said it right, okay? It was Draco who said it wrong, you nag. Why are they running from a f***ing cat? Ron is mouthing the lines that Hermione's saying. They can't wave a wand and give a boy a respectable set of teeth? Hermione runs all the way around the giant Quidditch field in 30 seconds. Why can't the teachers use their magic to decorate for Christmas so that Hagrid doesn't have to do so much manual labor? See, they even f***ing use magic to decorate the tree. The restricted section of the library isn't very restricted. Doesn't the use of the lantern sort of negate the benefits of the invisibility cloak? Exactly how f***ing tall is Harry supposed to be?
I trust by now you realize what it does. Let me give you a clue.
Wait, do I realize it already, or do I need a clue? Where am I supposed to go? You didn't give me a letter! So wait, they get in trouble for being out late at night, hanging out with Hagrid, and their punishment is to go hang out late at night with Hagrid? Also, the punishment involves taking 4 young students into the forest so dangerous they have rules about students going in there.
Ron, Hermione, you'll come with me.
And then they split them up! Dude, you are a wizard. Try some magic, maybe, or throw a stick. Tell me again why people root for Harry.
Harry Potter, this is where I leave you.
You just f***ing got here, you nitwit!
Voldemort will be strong again. He'll come back.
How is he in the forest drinking unicorn blood and nearly killing you, but he's not already labeled as back? Harry's glasses don't even need lenses all the time. Where's Harry's scar?
Go down the trapdoor. Tonight.
When it'll be too late and the bad guy will already be down there.
Trificus Totalis.
Awesome spell. Make sure you never use it again, particularly with bad guys. This camera angle is not appropriate. Don't worry, Ron, it'll disappear in a minute. See? So the bad guy who beat them here just left the key behind? I really don't think that should have hurt him that much. I mean, he basically just fell down.
You're a great wizard.
Listen, if Harry's such a great wizard, he would have performed at least one spell in this movie. Does the book explain how the Sorcerer's Stone ends up in Harry's pocket? Because the movie's kind of all you about it.
Only a person who wanted to find the stone but not use it would be able to get it.
That's cute, but it still doesn't explain how the stone ended up in his f***ing pocket. Dumbledore gives Ron 50 points for being good at chess, and not for, you know, his bravery and self-sacrifice in the face of death. Honestly, I'm kind of with Malfoy here. Slytherin's getting screwed. Why are the kids in Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff throwing their hats in the air like they won something? Oh, I'm gonna miss you too, kid. Now, run on back to your abusive family.
I can't let you out, Hedwig. I'm not allowed to use magic outside of school.
Harry tells Hedwig he can't use magic to open the cage to let him out, but there's a key in the lock. Is turning a key magic?
Hang on. How do you know my friends haven't been writing to me?
How does a house elf like Dobby get out of the house so often to steal letters from Harry's friends? Has he been wandering around outside snatching owls out of the air? And why did he even bring these letters with him in the first place if he wanted to keep Harry from Hogwarts?
Dobby, please stop!
The company downstairs could hear Dobby when he hit his head against the drawers earlier, but can't hear anything as Harry and Dobby run down the stairs. There's no way in hell Harry hears this flying car. The only way he could have been woken up just in time to see it is, you guessed it, magic.
Ron! Fred! George!
Thanks for the roll call, Harry. Yep, Ron, Fred, and George are home, but so are a host of other Weasleys, so where are they on this GPS system?
Dad works in the Ministry of Magic.
Harry and Ron had a whole year to get to know each other and Ron's dad's job never came up?
And who are you?
Seriously? One of the most famous wizards in all the land, and Arthur Weasley, who works with the government, hasn't even so much as seen a picture of Harry?
This lot won't come cheap, Mum.
Is there any reason this family full of magical wizards still has to be poor? Like, can they not use a textbook creating spell or something? I mean, we've got self-cleaning pots and pans here, people. What could this family possibly need money for? There's even a spell to fix the lens in your eyeglasses, for f***'s sake.
Diagonally!
Wouldn't Harry have to be, like, American to mispronounce Diagon Alley the way he does? It helps advance the plot to have him end up somewhere else, sure, but it's completely stupid that he would mispronounce it this way. Harry just happens to get accidentally sent to a place where he can overhear the Malfoys being evil.
No, please.
Harry?
Maybe they should have called this Harry Potter and the Chamber of Plot Conveniences. This run through the brick is cute and all, but are we honestly supposed to believe that no muggles ever see this and freak the f*** out, calling 999 to report the redheaded kids who just completely evaporated in broad daylight? Like, for instance, these muggles here who clearly see Harry and Ron's failed attempt at going through the brick.
What do you think you're doing?
What, haven't you ever seen a bunch of kids run through brick before?
The invisibility booster must be faulty!
Yeah, because magic invisibility can break down just like windshield wipers or air conditioning. This car doesn't get dented or crushed at all. Now, you can tell me it's a magical car and that it can't get damaged, but then I'll tell you that the f***ing car only crashed because it was damaged somehow. Oh, now the tree can dent the car. I know they had a brief adventure with the tree, but why are they so much later in arriving than the students who were on the train, which they followed here, and presumably arrived at the same time? Does everybody in this movie carry around with them and expose incriminating items in this story? In this shot, there are panels open everywhere in this greenhouse, including a huge beanstalk or something coming out of this one. But then when the camera actually goes down into the greenhouse, none of the panels are open.
Mandrake or Mandragora?
So wait, one mandrake scream causes the whole class to put their hands over their ears while wearing earmuffs, but 30 mandrakes all screaming at once brings no discomfort whatsoever.
Ron, is that your owl?
Man, this kid has the best eyesight and unnecessary expositional abilities of any wizard in Hogwarts. How the f*** did he recognize Ron's owl from this distance? And where the f*** is this owl coming from anyway? I don't quite understand. If you're Lockhart and you're a well-known author who has women throwing themselves at you and you're this vain, why would you take a low-paying job as a teacher at Hogwarts? Gilderoy Lockhart Inception painting.
A little quiz.
Doesn't Hogwarts set a curriculum? Like, how can professors come in and give quizzes about themselves to the students without that getting out and the professor getting reprimanded?
Can you possibly imagine a better way to serve detention than by helping me to answer my fan mail?
I wonder if this nearly 3-hour movie will have time to explain how vain Lockhart is.
Great Scott, no wonder. Look at the time. We've been here nearly 4 hours.
Okay, Harry was in detention with Lockhart for 4 hours, and then gets out late at night, conveniently bumps into his 2 friends, and then bam! All the kids in the entire school happen upon the scene at that exact moment. Does McGonagall write backwards on the chalkboard to make learning even more of a challenge for her students?
We will be transforming animals into water goblets.
Ah, another super useful spell. That's something you probably need on an everyday basis.
The air alone would be able to open the chamber and unleash the horror within, and by so doing, purge the school of all those who, in Slytherin's view, were unworthy to study magic.
Like Filch's cat? Why would the school allow Ron to keep performing magic with this wand? It seems like it would be a danger to himself and everyone around him. And why doesn't a school full of magical items have, like, a spare wand lying around somewhere that this poor bastard can use?
Let's go.
Hermione, Ron, and Hagrid get from the stands to the field in 7 seconds flat. Also, thank God Hermione is the only alert, responsible person in the whole school.
No one ever comes in here.
Why?
Moaning Myrtle.
How incredibly convenient for our heroes, and how terribly inconvenient for all the girls in the school to have their bathroom choices narrowed down. Wand goes flying, but then is magically back in Lockhart's hand after he lands. And we all know Lockhart doesn't know enough magic to pull that trick off.
What's bad? If I hadn't told that snake not to attack Justin...
Yes, there was absolutely no one who could have stopped that snake from attacking Justin. I mean, no one.
You would have done well in Slytherin.
You're wrong.
I get the sense that Slytherin needs to rebrand itself. I mean, everything associated with Slytherin is evil. All the evil kids go here. If you're sent to Slytherin, the school's basically saying, you're a bad kid. Have fun being an asshole, shithead. The snake monster in the Chamber of Secrets must be waiting weeks between victims. We had the cat, then the picture kid, then the dark-haired dude, and it's Christmas. Isn't he on some kind of crusade to kill all the mudbloods? Man, it sure is lucky there's a time and place to catch Crabbe and Goyle walking alone in the hallways and trick them with floating cupcake bait. This super complicated potion that took a month to create apparently does not need to be measured or administered in any specific amount.
Follow the spiders.
Hagrid tells the kids to go into the dark forest, which he surely knows has a bunch of ravenous spiders waiting to kill them. And for what?
Hagrid never opened the Chamber of Secrets.
To clear his name? The defense calls to the stand, this giant spider. He'll clear it up. I believe in magic cars with invisibility buttons. I really do. But I don't believe in a magic car that somehow knows its owner is in danger and comes roaring in to save the day. Oh, come on! She's been in here for weeks, but not one doctor, nurse, or professor checked to see if there was a large, wadded up piece of paper in her hand.
But if it kills by looking people in the eye, why is it no one's dead?
Because no one did look it in the eye. Colin saw it through his camera. Justin must have seen the basilisk through nearly head to Nick. And Hermione had the mirror.
And Mrs. Norris?
There was water on the floor that night.
This is the most convenient and luckiest set of circumstances ever for numerous characters to defy death.
Spiders flee before it.
This page about the basilisk clearly states that the crowing of the rooster can kill it. But instead of seeing that important information, Harry focuses on the spiders flee from it and ends up going into the Chamber of Secrets completely roosterless. Also, why were the spiders running out of Hagrid's cabin then? Where was the basilisk during that shit?
Who is it that the monster's taken, Minerva? Ginny Weasley.
How does she know which student was taken? The message just says her without mentioning a name.
Well, I must say, when I took the job...
It's completely illogical that Dumbledore would ever have hired a bumbling, useless wizard like Lockhart to be any kind of teacher at Hogwarts.
You wait here and try and shift some of this rock so we can get back through.
Ron neither has the wand nor the arms to move substantial amounts of rock from this pile. How does a memory generated from a diary pick up Harry's wand? And if he can do that, why doesn't he do anything else to Harry that might have made killing him easier? So how did Fawkes the Phoenix get past the spot where the rocks caved in and blocked the path? What's more, what about that snake door that Harry had to speak Parseltongue to open? The door clearly closes behind him. Main character trips and falls while running away from evil cliché.
Ginny, you need to get yourself out. Follow the chamber, and you'll find Ron.
Trapped behind a wall of fallen rock that you can't get past. Stop there and wait for more instructions.
You must have shown me real loyalty down in the chamber. Nothing but that could have called Fawkes to you.
Well, it's either that or the convenient storytelling. Why would Malfoy bring Dobby along on this angry visit to Dumbledore's office? So the rule is the house elf becomes free when the master presents him with clothes. Is this really presenting clothes to Dobby? Does Malfoy have to specify every time he gives Dobby a basket of laundry? Now, these aren't your clothes, Dobby. These are for cleaning. This is all accidental and without the master's knowledge. This rule and this loophole are stupid. I know we want to have a nice Dobby saves Harry moment here at the end, but was Lucius Malfoy seriously about to use the death curse on Harry right here outside Dumbledore's office?
All exams have been cancelled.
You didn't learn anything anyway. Disney slow clap finale cliché. Goodbye, Dumbledore. Hope you don't look and sound completely different next time I see you. Okay, now let's take a look at how negligent this school is. After Filch's cat is petrified, Dumbledore says he strongly recommends caution. At this point, there should at least be some beefed-up security and possibly some education about petrification. Now the school's Jimmy Olsen is petrified, Dumbledore now says,
Our students are in great danger. Tell them Hogwarts is no longer safe. It is, as we fear. The Chamber of Secrets has indeed been opened again.
The answer? Let's teach students self-defense techniques. But not against some possible monster, which might know something like, I don't know, petrification, but against each other, and using this dumbass Lockhart, who by this time everyone knows is a fraud. And of course they learn nothing, except that Harry can speak Parseltongue. The school forgets about that no longer safe decree, nobody patrols the halls, Voldemort can apparently just guide Ginny Weasley around the school's halls petrifying cats and wizards and painting messages in blood, and there isn't one person who ever witnesses it. Now it's business as usual again, and this kid Justin gets petrified. Dumbledore knows it's not Potter. Now there's been 3 incidents, but there's still no evacuation of the school and still no extra security. The Gryffindor house is ransacked, and who does Neville go to? Well, he goes to Harry, because not one adult here seems to give a f*** about anything. I mean, these assholes were about to play Quidditch again. And there's a monster crawling around in the school, but it gets cancelled because Hermione is now petrified. So now a cat and 3 people have been petrified, and the school remains open, and not one kid is scared of shit in this entire school, and they're casually sitting around in their dorms without a care in the world. Then there's this ludicrous new set of rules that come out. Be back at your house by 6. Okay, whatever. But every student will be accompanied by a teacher to every lesson? Sorry, no way that happens. Did you see how many teachers are at this school? No? Well, McGonagall makes an announcement that the students need to go back to their dorms, and all the teachers come up to the 2nd floor corridor where they can see the new message. Do you see how many people show up? It's 6, including a dwarf. And this asshole Filch. We find out Ginny Weasley's been taken by the monster, and only now does McGonagall say,
Students must be sent home. I'm afraid this is the end of Hogwarts.
But they forget about all that once Lockhart shows up, telling him he finally has a chance to slay the beast, knowing full well he doesn't have the ability. Is an evacuation ordered? Of course not. These assholes are still sending Harry back to live with abusive people during the summer? How the f*** is Harry doing this? He didn't pull out a wand. He didn't utter any spell names, so why does he have to use that shit ever if he can silently will a person he doesn't like to bloat up and float away? It's pretty damn convenient that the magic bus shows up literally just as Harry's about to have a confrontation with the dog. Or inconvenient because that was his godfather who loves him. And a lot of worry and mystery could have been alleviated if the bus had simply been 3 minutes slower.
But the Muggles, can't they see us?
Muggles? They don't see nothing, do they?
All that bullshit with Ron, Harry, the flying car, and the Muggles was a bunch of bullshit. Cat Wilhelm scream.
Looking forward to a new term?
Yeah, should be great.
Right, because every other year at Hogwarts has been peachy.
Why would I go looking for someone who wants to kill me?
Oh, I don't know. The events of the last 2 movies might lead someone to think that.
Come on, everywhere else is full.
You've checked 4 compartments!
Who do you think that is?
Professor R.J. Lupin.
Since when do professors ride along with students on the train to Hogwarts?
Sirius Black has escaped from Azkaban to come after you.
No kid this age would ever tell important secrets to their friends in this close proximity to a teacher, even if they thought that teacher was asleep. Boy, it sure is lucky they picked the one compartment where a professor just happened to be sleeping. When did the Hogwarts choir learn this song? During their summer break? This is the first night of school. Or is this some kind of school song or annual tradition to sing a song about something wicked coming? Unlike the Oracle, the new Dumbledore feels no need to explain his altered appearance.
A word of caution. Dementors are vicious creatures.
This warning came just in time. Dumbledore clearly said the Dementors would be stationed at every entrance to the grounds, and instead they're all just hovering out over the water. Already they are f***ups.
Taking the form of a giant spectral dog, it's among the darkest omens in our world.
I'd be scared, except Harry faces death every year and lives, so this is really just another day.
You're supposed to stroke it.
Ah, the things you learn at the age of 13.
Then you wait and see if he bows back. And if he does, you can go and touch him. If not, well, we'll get to that later.
I'm beginning to think the adults at Hogwarts purposely withhold information for sheer comic relief. The director said, let's give you an apple to eat in this scene so you'll look like even more of an asshole. Anything that flies in the Harry Potter universe is contractually obligated to do some soaring laps over Hogwarts Castle. It's great to see all those Dementors still flying around and doing their job. Oh, wait.
Class dismissed!
Hopefully Buckbeak doesn't kill any of you while I'm gone. Hermione isn't old enough to be hot yet.
Black could be anywhere.
That's racist. Also, there's nothing the entire magical kingdom can do to find Sirius Black. If only he were stranded on the side of the road needing a bed for the night. Also, wizard newspapers make ridiculous text layout decisions.
No one knows.
When'd she get here?
If Hermione is using a time travel device so that she can be in two places at once, why would Ron notice anything abnormal?
Ridiculous!
Holy shit, she just turned that cobra into something even scarier. Why is everyone laughing?
That's enough for today. If you'd all like to collect your books.
No one else gets a turn because Harry bogarted the boggart.
Your mother, Lily's.
Oh, yes. I knew her.
This dude totally f***ed your mom, Harry.
Not a single professor inside this castle would help Sirius Black to enter it.
There's no way these two would have this conversation right in front of students who are notorious for faking sleep in order to eavesdrop. Hogwarts is a dig to safety. Invisible Harry is an asshole. Also, way to give away your position, assface. I thought you were supposed to be incognito. Yeah, that door always just opens on its own. No reason to think that's suspicious. It sure is fortunate that the Minister of Magic and Professor McGonagall decided to visit this random pub owner so that Harry could hear some extremely crucial information he could use later. Character who really needs glasses loses glasses during crucial action sequence cliché. If only there was a spell to improve one's vision. Or if only those glasses were stranded on the side of the road needing... Yeah, never mind. Did the Whomping Willows branch stop so that Hermione could grab onto Harry? Oh man. If he would only fallen right side up. Oh well. Maybe next time, Harry.
I found him. I know. It's him. I understand.
Let's kill him. Come on, let's kill him.
What's with the pronoun game? Why scare the kid when you mean to kill the rat?
Severus, please.
Well, there goes the theory that you need your own personal wand to make magic. So what was all that bullshit in the last movie with Ron's broken wand and the school not giving him a replacement? Also, why is Harry's disarming spell so strong that it blasts Snape across the room, while Snape and Lupin's disarming spell merely disarmed the person? So Lupin turned out to be a good guy after all, and so did Sirius Black. So this movie's primary antagonist is Peter Pettigrew?
You almost tore my leg off.
I was going for the rat.
You were? You have horrible aim, and once you knew you were dragging Ron, why did you keep doing it? Oh right, because the werewolf would totally be surprised by a sudden full moon.
Professor?
Hermione tries to reason with a werewolf. How did Snape not only miss the freaking werewolf, but not hear him howl just before he came out of the tree? Is capturing a soul like winning the Stanley Cup, where everyone gets a chance to kiss it before passing it along?
When in doubt, I find retracing my steps to be a wise place to begin.
Honestly, can't you just spell out exactly what they should do instead of being such a vague bastard? Is this not a mission in which you actually want them to succeed? Hey, you know what might help with that whole let's not be seen while we're time traveling problem? A f***ing cloak that makes you f***ing invisible.
That's Pettigrew.
Harry, you can't.
Dude, where was all this anger when you first found out about this?
Ow!
Another, more normal reaction would be, oh, so that's what that was. Seriously, everyone in the execution party is enamored with the countryside? Not one cursory glance toward the animal you were about to kill? In the time it took them to finally lure Buckbeak into the woods and out of sight, the original Hermione, Ron, and Harry should have seen Hermione and Harry taking Buckbeak to safety from atop the hill. Why is Hagrid's house different in this movie? Like, before it was a one-room thing on the edge of the evil forest. Now it's a two-room joining the edge of a cliff. Can a werewolf really not tell the difference between a real wolf and a teenage girl screaming like a wolf? If, while trying to hide from a werewolf, you back into a clearing, you deserve to die. Harry and Hermione resign themselves to werewolf death instead of, I don't know, casting a spell at it or something.
Expecto Patronum!
Original Harry somehow didn't hear this bullshit. Okay, so they did all the stuff they needed to do. They saved Buckbeak, they distracted the werewolf, and Harry sent Dear Jesus toward the Dementors. But nothing to prevent Peter Pettigrew from escaping? Couldn't they have spent a little time figuring out what they needed to do before they actually left? Invisible cloak? Check. Rat glue traps and or Hermione's cat? Check.
I saw myself conjuring the Patronus before. I knew I could do it this time because, well, I'd already done it. Does that make sense?
No!
Yeah, this awful, terrible excuse of a human being who escaped freaking Azkaban probably doesn't need a guard or anything while he's in this dinky Hogwarts cell. See, something like this might have worked against a werewolf.
The ones that love us never really leave us. And you can always find in here.
And also in that mirror from the first movie, which you seem to have forgotten about entirely. How come Sirius didn't have to do that whole bowing ritual with Buckbeak in order to be able to pat him on the head and then ride him?
We have to go.
Harry and Hermione run from the courtyard up a dozen flights of stairs to the infirmary in about 5 seconds flat.
He's free. We did it.
Did what?
Good job saving the day. Don't ever use that time machine again, though, no matter how dire things get in future sequels. Let's talk about the movie's time travel. They go back in time, but practically everything we see them do is stuff that happened the first time through. Harry getting hit with a rock, distracting the werewolf, etc. This is a paradox of Terminator proportions unless there's an original unique experience where the time turner isn't being used. Harry and crew would go to Hagrid's cabin and likely get caught by Dumbledore. Then none of the things we see happen would actually happen. They don't save Buckbeak, Ron doesn't lose his rat, Sirius doesn't drag Ron into the tree and into the shack, Harry doesn't find out Scabbers is Peter Pettigrew, Lupin turns into a werewolf somewhere else, and Sirius doesn't get nailed by the Dementors. And scene. The problem with this, though, besides the fact that we in the audience didn't get to see this original experience, is that at this point, only Buckbeak has been harmed, and you weren't using a time travel device just to go back and save that asshole. They don't have any other motivation to begin going back and trying to fix stuff. Thus, a paradox.
None of it made any difference. Pettigrew escaped.
That's what I'm saying! Heavy-handed opening shot of skulls in cemetery to tell you Harry Potter ain't for kids anymore. This old man noticed the light before it was turned on.
Harry!
Oh hey, the Hogwarts assholes finally stopped sending Harry back to spend every summer with abusive relatives.
When did you get here?
Just now, you.
Last night.
Oh wait, no they didn't. Assholes. This 2-second clip of Robert Pattinson falling out of a tree was the only audition he needed for Twilight. Is the boot just sitting out here in a field the rest of the time when it's not being used as a portkey? Did someone come out here even earlier this morning and set it in place?
Why are they all standing around that manky old boot?
That isn't just any manky old boot, mate. It's a portkey.
Of course it is. You can now officially transport using anything in the Harry Potter universe. That looks like one broken bone, several sprains, and a handful of future chiropractic patients. Harry Potter adults would much rather see the kids hurt themselves than teaching them anything useful, as always.
Home sweet home.
But who put the tent up? Unbelievably convenient spell makes one wonder why there are such things as conflicts in the magic world.
Blimey, Dad! How far up are we?
I'm still trying to figure out why stairs exist at the magical Quidditch arena. What, no magical spell or elevator? Malfoy somehow reaches from all the way down here with his cane to catch some of Harry's supposedly loose-fitting jacket and stop him in his tracks. That's racist. Damn, all that build-up for the Quidditch Cup and we don't see one bit of it.
Get back to the portkey, everybody, and stick together!
What portkey? The boot was the portkey and then they landed in a field. So, are they supposed to run back to the field, or all the way back to the random English hill that contains the boot? Also, hundreds of thousands of magical people, and instead of ganging up on a handful of Death Eaters and overpowering them, they all scatter. Haven't these people seen A Bug's Life? Main character gets separated from the group because of an unrealistic scuffle in a large crowd cliché. So, everyone's dead? Or did everyone escape and then they burned everything to the ground? You see, the problem with these cutaway to after the action is over shots is that they confuse the fuck out of the audience. Oh, come on. They burned this whole place down and Harry somehow survived the burning and the smoke inhalation? Didn't get trampled by hundreds of thousands of people running for their lives? Didn't get kidnapped by Voldemort's minions?
What crime?
It's the dark mark, Harry. It's his mark.
Oh, the burning down of a whole village is not the crime they're talking about. It's the scary firework. Wait, they're going straight to Hogwarts after all this shit? Honestly, why even travel by water at all if you're going to go by magical, completely submerged boat? Why don't these two other schools just have all the students take a portkey to Hogwarts? It wouldn't make for nearly as cinematic an entrance, but it definitely makes for a more logical story.
Hogwarts has been chosen to host a legendary event, the Tri-Wizard Tournament.
Apparently the announcement of this very special event just happened today, with the competing schools knowing way in advance before any of the students at Hogwarts did. To be fair, this is how we imagine all French girls, whether they know magic or not.
And now our friends from the north.
The North? Isn't Victor Crumb from Bulgaria? Isn't Hogwarts in England? Or does Crumb play professionally for a Bulgarian Quidditch team and go to school in some Scandinavian country? Wait, the best seeker in the entire magical world is a high school student? This fork was stuck much further into this guy's hand in the previous shot. Stupid Tower of Ice Cream Scoops is stupid.
To explain all this, we have the head of the Department of International Magical Cooperation, Mr. Bartimus Crouch.
Who isn't the least bit busy after that terrorist attack that happened yesterday. Mad-Eye Moody was the only one who could stop it from raining. Roll credits.
3 years from now, when we're old enough to be chosen.
Wait, they're doing another Tri-Wizard tournament in 3 years? Then why wasn't there one during the first movie?
It's not going to work.
Again, I ask, why are the wands, which bond themselves to their owners and seem so f***ing important in the first movie, sometimes just not remotely necessary?
Harry, you put your name in that Goblet of Fire.
Oh, sir.
You asked one of the older students to do it for you?
You mean that could have worked if he did?
The Goblet of Fire constitutes a binding magical contract.
What happens if you break the magical contracts? Who enforces them? Is there a magical contract dispute court? Who represents the inanimate goblet in these proceedings?
He is, as of tonight, a Tri-Wizard champion.
Well, technically Quad Wizard champion. Something is so obviously wrong, it's ridiculous they can't overturn this. Everyone stares at the main character POV shot cliché.
If we are to truly discover the meaning of these events, perhaps we should let them unfold.
I agree with Severus.
Wait, you mean you can do something to keep him from playing? And instead you're thinking, what's Voldemort up to? Well, better let Harry play so we can find out.
Let you know what? You know, bloody well what?
Why is it so obvious to Ron that Harry is a no-good f***ing liar? I mean, the goblet isn't supposed to pick 4 people, or 2 people from the same school, or allow 14-year-olds. Something is clearly wrong.
The bird bite.
Harry immediately drinks his own blood after possibly Rabbit Al bites his hand. Why is this the one and only time in all 8 movies when 2 people who need to talk to each other while in separate places use this fireplace phone?
The Death Eaters at the World Cup, your name rising from that goblet. These are not just coincidences. Hogwarts isn't safe anymore.
Seems like I've heard this in all the movies so far. Oh well, if she uses magic for the pen and paper, why does she need an actual photographer to take the pictures? Oh good, more movie tricks to avoid showing the audience shit that, while expensive to film, would actually be more entertaining than watching Harry listening to it. Also, why the f*** did you put the spectator stand so close to the fire-breathing dragons? And why did you build it out of wood? Earlier this thing's fire breath stretched like 30 feet or more in the forest, but now it goes 10 feet, hits a small human-sized rock, and turns back. Because physics. This dragon chase scene is awesome, but didn't you say they'd been given a golden egg to protect? Not they've been told to kill you? Is the dragon intelligent enough to know that none of the other hundreds of people back at the stadium are going to steal its egg? Was this part of Voldemort's plan? I mean, Moody is a fake Moody. They staged Harry's name being in the cup, all just to get him to win this tournament, but everything would have been f***ed if Harry had slipped and died here, as any non-main character person would have. The dragon broke free from his chain and is a threat to the school itself and all the students now. Is there any reason none of the teachers step in to intervene here? What if the dragon was fire-breathing at Harry and a bunch of fire was headed for a section of the stands? Would they have stepped in to save the kids in the stands? Bullshit. Why the f*** is this dragon climbing around the building? Did it forget it can fly? They've just been listening this whole time? The f*** would they do if the dragon was already in London ravaging muggles? And the dragon was never seen again. Some say it's still falling. This noise.
I reckon you have to be barking mad to put your own name in the Goblet of Fire.
Harry and Ron's reconciliation makes no sense. No one knew how serious the tournament was until now, not even Harry. So the fact that everyone now knows it's truly deadly doesn't change anything about the possibility that Harry put his own name in. If Ron was pissed before, he should still be pissed.
The Yule Ball has been a tradition of the Tri-Wizard tournament since its inception.
Now it just sounds like you're making shit up as it goes along. Also, Yule Ball festivities will now take up 15 minutes of this movie's time just so we can see Ron and Hermione get pissed off at each other.
Inside every girl, a secret swan slumbers, longing to burst forth and take flight.
From now on, I'm calling my penis Secret Swan. Amusing scene, but why does a school stop classes to teach students how to dance? Golf gloves and nipple hats. 2-hour and 37-minute movie spends way too much time on the giant love story. Wait a minute, no one's asked this girl out yet? First off, that's racist. Second off, she has so few options that she says yes to the first Weasley that comes along. That's actually abuse. This is not a safe way to store a boat for the winter. Why are they arriving to the dance by carriage? If Hogwarts is the destination, where did the carriage rides originate? Supposedly plain girl makes her grand entrance down the stairs as a beautiful swan when everyone is looking cliché. Also, Hermione isn't old enough to be hot yet. Won't be too much longer though. That's right, you guys. I got the 14-year-old. I'm nailing her in the room of requirement later.
Spin around like a crazy elf, a dancing by herself.
Magic-based rock and roll act owes Billy Idol a ton of f***ing money.
Would you care to join us?
Would not care to join you and Victor.
Jeez, Ron's character motivations are so base he might as well just be a penis.
The whole point of the tournament is international magical cooperation.
What? They aren't cooperating, they're competing. Those 2 words are literally antonyms.
I think he's got a bit more than friendship on his mind.
Yeah, he's not the only one. You can edit that part out, right? This woman's height changes in every scene she's in.
Actually, we don't really talk at all. Victor's more of a physical being.
Haha, gross. These are the most glass-free glasses I've ever seen.
You know the prefect's bathroom on the 5th floor? It's not a bad place for a bath.
If Edward Cullen is suggesting to Harry Potter what I think he is, that beats my fanfiction.
Just take your egg and mull things over in the hot water.
I know we want to keep the audience guessing, but why wouldn't Cedric have just said, dude, open the egg underwater and listen to it? Phasma phasmatis ex machina.
When's the last time you held your breath underwater for an hour, Hermione?
When's the last time Hermione had no clue what spell to cast to get Harry out of this problem? The Triwizard Tournament is a dick to underage students who didn't even volunteer.
We've agreed. Reward him second place for outstanding moral fiber.
Harry gets extra points for cheating. Also, the only reason you made Harry compete was because the rules were important. But now that there's life on the line, the rules, am I right? How does Harry have third-person views of Dumbledore's memories?
Give me the wretched name! Barty Crouch! Junior.
Barty Jr. runs because the accusations of a desperate man in a cage aren't easily denied.
But he had no choice. The evidence was overwhelming.
Yeah, the word of a crazy convicted magic felon. That's overwhelming evidence for sure. Diggory's dad is here? Where's Fleur's dad? Or Crumbs? Oh, right, Diggory's gonna die here in a bit, and we need that money shot of his dad wailing over his body.
First person to touch the cup will be the winner!
You could have jerked off in the first two events. As long as you survived, you can win just by touching the cup. This being a maze with huge hedges, this would seem to be an awful spectator event.
Together! 1, 2, 3!
Sportsmanship.
It's a port key.
Why did the cup travel with them on this journey, but the boot didn't travel with them in the initial port key voyage earlier in the film?
Should I divulge how I truly lost my powers?
Anything that'll give Harry enough time to get out of this. We're all ears.
When dear sweet Lily Potter gave her life for her only son, she provided the ultimate protection.
A bit of magic that saves people from the killing curse? Why doesn't everybody learn this? Was Lily the only one who knew how to do it? The f***?
I'm going to kill you, Harry Potter.
Then do it already! Oh hey, Harry and Voldemort have their wand streams crossed. You know what you should do? Take another 4 movies to get us back to this exact same situation. Also, whenever my brother and I cross streams, we definitely got some on the floor.
Harry, take my body back, will you?
Sure, Cedric. As soon as I get done battling the Dark Lord. Top of my priority list. Harry is saved by some bullshit ghosts because of some bullshit having to do with his wand and Voldemort's wand connecting or some bullshit. Why does the port key return them to the grandstands instead of the spot back in the maze that they left from? Barty's polyjuice potion just happens to wear off at the right moment for the big reveal to Harry.
Imagine how he will reward me. I have once and for all silenced Harry Potter.
At first I thought you weren't killing him because of that only Voldemort gets to kill Harry Potter nonsense, but no, you could have killed him like 20 times since you took him here. You mean to tell me the entire tournament from the beginning of the school year until now was rigged just to get Harry to touch a port key? Couldn't they have just made a port key out of his breakfast waffles or something?
Barty Crouch, Jr.
Doctor Who is that?
Priori incantatum. You saw your parents that night, didn't you?
Yeah, and it was total bullshit. Who the f*** are these people waving at? And don't give me that they're waving at the French people on the horses nonsense, because there's no freaking way anyone can see them this far inside the castle. Over 13 minutes of f***ing credits. 20 seconds of logo. Wait, these motherfuckers are still sending Harry back to live with abusive relatives? 5 f***ing movies in, and honestly the Hogwarts people are just as bad as Voldemort in my book. They might as well have just beat Harry themselves, f***ing assholes. Dementors show up just as Harry is about to serve this asshole cousin some long overdue justice. Fat, out-of-shape Dudley can keep up with somewhat athletic Harry while running. Even the Harry Potter franchise ends up reduced to cheap jump scares. Since when are you able to keep a Patronus on retainer? Also, it's been 2 years. Learn how to make a full-fledged Patronus already. The last time you did it, all you had to do was realize that you'd done it before. You remember? During all that time travel rigmarole from the 3rd movie?
How do you know about...
Dumbledore asked me to keep an eye on you.
While you were being beaten and forced to live under the stairs.
Did you expect him to let you go wandering around on your own?
What is she supposed to do if any evil magic antagonist tries to attack Harry? I watched over Harry like you asked, Dumbledore, but Lucius Malfoy cast a spell I couldn't deflect with my wicker basket.
Who did this to you, boy?
Considering Uncle Vernon's character in this series, it's amazing he didn't already blame Harry.
The Ministry has received intelligence. You performed the Patronus charm in the presence of a muggle.
However, our intelligence did not notice the 2 Dementors that would have sucked your face off. So you must have been frivolously conjuring Patronus charms for no reason.
You are hereby expelled.
Oh no, Harry's been expelled from Hogwarts? How are they going to fill the next 2 hours of this movie and the 3 movies after it? How the f*** did the Ministry find a witness to testify to Harry using magic outside of school in this instance, but not in any of the previous instances he's done it in basically every other movie? Good guys here to rescue Harry Potter decide to silently creep him the f*** out first before revealing themselves.
Dumbledore has persuaded the Minister to suspend your expulsion pending a formal hearing.
What?
Don't call me Nymphadora.
Don't call me whatever you just called me, cliché.
Don't break ranks if one of us is killed.
And no one pay any attention to the flying witches and wizards in the middle of a f***ing neighborhood either. So wait, they don't have a chimney or a magic boot or some shit to transport Harry where he needs to go? They just fly around London and say, if muggles see us, f*** them? Okay, so now you're just pissing me off. I hope I don't see the Palace of Westminster now. F***. Things! London! You know what could have been even cooler than this? A magic building not in London that doesn't have anything to do with a regular muggle apartment building. I've just wrapped my head around platform 9 3/4. How do I wrap my head around this? Harry is still amazed at shit like this. Dude, did you not see the tent in the last f***ing movie? Jump scare hug.
The Order of the Phoenix.
Roll credits.
Dumbledore made us swear not to tell you anything.
So why are Hermione and Fred privy to this super secret knowledge that concerns Harry?
If it wasn't for Harry, we wouldn't even know Voldemort was back.
No shit. And the guy's been in like 1,000 adventures that no kid should ever have to go through. And he fought Voldemort. This secret is the most ridiculous thing ever.
Just because you're allowed to use magic now does not mean you have to whip your wands out for everything!
If use magic means have sex, then yes, they do.
Good, I want to join. If Voldemort's raising an army, then I want to fight.
I guess that's where the conversation ended. There was nothing else to sort out after that. Haha, hilarious. Why do these wizards even need to use the f***ing subway again? Every f***ing person in London is walking down streets far away from this so they can't witness this telephone elevator. Also, man, I just can't figure out the physics of this thing. There's an entire extra floor of telephone booth tucked up in the top of this telephone booth? We've said it before, but magic this complex makes you wonder why there are such things as problems in the wizard world. Use of magic chimneys makes you wonder why Harry and Mr. Weasley didn't do this. If the reason is Harry can't use magic, then why was he allowed to fly on a broom earlier?
Interdepartmental memos. He used to use owls. The mess was unbelievable.
Why the f*** is the rest of the magic world still using owls? Also, these magic memos have to take the elevator to get delivered. He's explaining to Weasley what Bill Murray said at the end of Lost in Translation. So Mrs. Fig is what's known as a squib, a muggle born to wizard parents. But the ministry says muggles can't see dementors. So why does anything she say hold any weight at all?
The odds are astronomical.
Someone in a fantasy movie about magic says something is impossible because of the odds.
Professor.
Dumbledore continues to be a dick to Harry even after helping Harry. Nobody in this entire busy station is sitting in the waiting room. Sirius risks his own life, the mission, and Harry's life just to show him a picture. Well, and he's going to die at the end of the movie, so we need to add in some fluffy bonding shit to inflate the sorrow for the audience later.
Nothing's pulling the carriage, Harry. It's pulling itself, like always.
Which would be reasonable in a magic movie, but of course invisible horses are pulling this carriage, and now they have to throw this only people who have seen death can see them wrinkle into the story.
I can see them too.
Harry and the gang just happened to meet a student that did not exist the first 4 Harry Potters, and who also has seen death and can see the Thestrals. By the way, is this the only way to get to Hogwarts? You have to cram 5 students at a time on the back of a wagon? Finally, the carriage moves, but why it waited so long is anyone's guess.
It means the ministry's interfering at Hogwarts.
Oh no, you mean the government is telling a school what to do? That's just f***ing unheard of, man.
I said I'm fine, Ron.
Harry Potter is a dick to Rons.
You don't understand.
Then help us to.
Well, I would, but Dumbledore made me swear not to tell you. Guess we're even now, huh? Flying owl signifies the passage of time cliché.
They're called Thestrals.
43 minutes into this movie, what's the real conflict? Sure, Dolores Umbridge is a total whore, and some people don't like Harry, but that's what we call the B story. A story hasn't cropped up yet.
They can only be seen by people who've seen death.
Man, the Thestrals must have had a great life being invisible. Then one dude or chick who saw death suddenly stumbled upon them and made them into carriage horses. F***ers. We Americans get widely criticized for the portions restaurants serve and how much we waste food, but the Harry Potter universe is filled with huge plates of uneaten food. Where does it all go when the kids are done?
Merely your medieval methods.
Professors would never have this argument in the full view of students in the middle of a heavily trafficked area.
Things at Hogwarts are far worse than I feared.
Why is she suddenly turning to address the large group of eavesdropping students?
To address the seriously falling standards at Hogwarts School.
The ministry's being portrayed as the bad guys here, but yeah, has anyone ever learned anything at that school? Wand block.
You've been in this post how long, exactly?
Aw, that poor nice Trelawney. Getting grilled over her worthlessness. I'd hate to see her go. That's racist. Jesus, I know they're magical people, but shit. Open courtyard public shame firing? There's no decency here? I thought all these people were British, for f***'s sake.
Professor!
Whatever Dumbledore's reason is for ignoring Harry, he's unwittingly creating a new Voldemort. What the hell is wrong with this guy?
Professor Dumbledore!
Also, these assholes couldn't have told him, listen, Harry, Dumbledore has to ignore you this year because of a big, scary, important magic thing that you'll learn more about later. But it definitely doesn't mean that he hates you, as it probably feels when no one explains this shit to you.
She's taking over the entire school.
So far, this movie should have been called Harry Potter and the Really, Really Bad Teacher Nobody Liked. Have we ever seen these f***ing kids sitting around just listening to the radio news? No, we have not. Because we have not as of yet needed such a cheap way to have our main characters learn crucial information. Oh, look, he does use the fireplace phone again. I stand corrected. But I do not stand corrected on the fact that it's still just an easy deus ex machina for communication that comes and goes at the whim of the writer. Also, why is he a hologram in the flames this time instead of literally having his face composed of embers and ash? Did the fireplace phone get a massive upgrade in capability over the summer? Also, how the f*** did Sirius know that Harry and his friends and no one else would be in this room at this exact moment?
Voldemort is on the move.
Is this news? Hey, we need some kind of transition between scenes here. Okay, just have Voldemort whisper Harry in the rain and then dissolve to an establishing shot of the school. Brilliant!
Is it true you can produce a Patronus charm?
Yes, I've seen it.
Blimey, Harry. I didn't know you could do that.
How did you not know that? The entire magical kingdom has been gossiping about Harry and his formal trial for using a Patronus charm in front of a muggle this entire school year. Wait, you made them all sign in ink and paper for a clandestine magic training club?
Which way you going, Longbottom?
Okay, there's an obvious sin of cliché bully behavior going on here after 5 f***ing years at this place, but I'm not sure if I need to award it to the bully characters or the screenwriter. Requiro ex machina.
The room of requirement only appears when a person has real need of it, and is always equipped for the seeker's needs.
So it's a holodeck. Also, what was Neville's need? He got bullied by Crabbe and Goyle, but he was in no danger. Did Neville need a room to cry in? Also, are you seriously saying that no one at this school or in this cast of main characters has ever had a real need of a room like this during any of the previous 4 adventures? Because if so, f*** you! And how many people can walk to this spot and get into this room without being seen? The school is under the micromanaging eye of Umbridge. She somehow misses this? How can you practice a spell and not have the spell's effect happen? Like, do you start by saying, Wand Siri, this is just a practice spell, or something like that? How are the magical forces supposed to know you really don't mean it this time as opposed to other times? Hermione's victory over Ron gets celebrated as this woman conquers man sort of thing, but don't we already know that Hermione is better than most of all the rest of her fellow students? Filch falls for this. Is this the only hallway wall in all of Hogwarts where proclamations may be hung? It's a fun gag, I suppose, but this is the opposite of a practical way to actually communicate and remind students of many new rules. What, did he just do that spell for her? Neither of them said a spell word, so how did the wand know what was required of it? Wasn't it confused by having 2 masters at once?
Believing in yourself.
Whoa, Harry, have you thought about maybe dating this girl right here? I mean, I like Cho and Ginny Weasley as much as the next guy, but you might be overlooking someone.
Expelliarmus!
Neville reaches deep down to his British roots and conquers India. Twilight, y'all. Room of requirement does not furnish condoms.
Well, how was it? Wet.
Well, this movie got a whole lot more interesting.
I will attempt to penetrate your mind. You will attempt to resist. Prepare yourself.
I'm not going to tell you how to resist, but resist, damn you. So wait, is Snape still in Harry's mind? What the hell happened? Snape just knocked Harry and us into next Christmas.
My mother did that after I ran away.
These movies and their tragic character backstories. Everyone's got a sob story. Harry's parents died. Sirius's mother was abusive. Hermione's parents are muggles. Ron's family is poor.
I just feel so angry all the time.
Yeah, you're 15. Welcome to puberty. Geez, does Hogwarts not have a sex ed curriculum so these poor kids can understand their bodies?
Bit of fresh air, you know.
Oh, yes. As gamekeeper, fresh air must be difficult to come by.
Whoa, touche. Dolores Umbridge would be amazing at CinemaSins.
There's a storm coming, Harry.
We get it, Hollywood. Damn. When the storms come in movies, it's foreshadowing. Got it. This is how you break people out of Azkaban. By killing 1/10 of its population with a massive for no reason explosion. Also, Bellatrix Lestrange, who we just heard about a few minutes ago, somehow survives this massive explosion in her sector. Sure, walk toward the source of that loud bang that just destroyed a mirror a second ago. Why didn't she just do this in the first place? Also, why couldn't Dolores just find the room of requirement by really needing it, which apparently makes the room appear? And if it really is helping Harry with Dumbledore's army, then why doesn't it have a defense spell against this very kind of magic? Hey, what's this? We found your secret room, Harry! And we've got your girlfriend, too! Maybe they're saying she talked, but it's not like they didn't know where the room was.
Dumbledore's army.
See, f***ing paper trail gets you every time.
Dumbledore's got style.
Wow, way to take one of the few black characters in these movies and make him a walking stereotype. Come on, is this really how a painting full of magic figures would work? When they hung these paintings, did they have to be extra careful so that the people inside didn't slide out of the picture?
The more you care, the more you have to lose.
Well, then I must have nothing to lose right about now.
Maybe it's just better
to what?
Well, shit, Hermione, if you don't interrupt, maybe he'll answer the question.
Any idea where he's taking us?
Hagrid, why can't you just tell us?
Because this is a Harry Potter movie and he's Hagrid. I mean, those are the only 2 reasons I can see.
With Dumbledore gone, I'll likely be getting a sack any day now.
Didn't Umbridge visit you and already do that?
Couldn't just leave him because he's my brother.
Dun dun dun! Also, CGI brother is CGI. Is Ron serious? Every f***ing time they see something weird in the Force with Hagrid in one of these films, it's something that will be hugely important later. Every single time.
think you've got an admirer.
You have no idea.
Control your emotions. Discipline your mind.
So apparently these lessons are like Luke believing in the Force or something? There's really no significant tip or trick to controlling your mind, you just have to do it. Harry's dad is a dick to Snape, causing Snape to be a dick to everyone forever. Umbridge has her entire wall covered with YouTube's recommended videos section. Umbridge lets herself be fooled into walking way out into the haunted woods with the 2 students she's been the most suspicious about from day one. Phew! Good thing Hagrid introduced this never-before-seen character Grop to everyone just before they got in trouble.
Tell them I mean no harm! I'm sorry, Professor. I must not tell lies.
Irony. I have a feeling that the Centaurs are going to do to Dolores Umbridge what the sisters tried to do to Andy Dufresne in Shawshank. Is that justice? Or gross overcompensation?
So how are we going to get to London?
We fly, of course.
Of course, but with Umbridge being taken prisoner and probably much worse than that by Centaurs, why don't you use the Flu Network now? There is no one in charge at Hogwarts anymore. No one in London who watches the sky for leisure notices this shit.
It's got your name on it.
Random crystal ball with crucial clues to the rest of the series just happens to be found by Neville while they search for Sirius. We interrupt the 5th Harry Potter installment to bring you Eyes Wide Shut. Shut your eyes wide, kids. Why the disguise? Any reason for that at all?
Now hand me the prophecy.
How did Voldemort know for sure that the visual clues he gave Harry would send him to the Ministry of Magic?
Prophecies can only be retrieved by those about whom they are made.
So that makes this large collection of prophecies located in the Ministry of Magic in a dark room where no one can find them virtually worthless. Also, this story takes a page out of the prophecy handbook by not explaining who makes them, who they're for, or how accurate they are.
All you have to do is give it to me.
Either Lucius is lying about the whole prophecies can be retrieved only by those about whom they are made thing, or he f***ed up this whole lie by telling Harry that, because this prophecy would be useless in any hands other than Potter's. None of the rest of these movies would even need to take place if Voldemort would just let his Death Eaters kill Harry and steal the prophecy. This room is suddenly Domino's. Department of Mysteries has a convenient escape door that leads to a precipitous drop for no reason other than to escape falling crystal balls. Unexplained magical spell stops their fall and keeps them alive because reasons. Bad guys waste time scaring kids instead of killing them. Shocker, right? I mean, didn't you say it wouldn't work like this? Or did that lie you pulled out of your ass turn out to be true?
Get away from my godson.
Hell yeah, there's nothing like a good old-fashioned punch when the principals involved can perform magic. Also, meanwhile, none of Lucius's friends do anything when Sirius shows up. And the Order of the Phoenix knew to show up here in this room. Somehow. This would probably be exciting if I had any idea what the f*** is going on. There are too many characters moving too quickly, many of whom I never knew well at all to begin with. I don't know which spells need words and which ones don't, whose spells are more powerful than whose. It's just a bunch of f***ing noise. Bellatrix is the only wizard witch of the whole bunch during this entire fight to remember the killing curse.
She killed him. She deserves it.
Voldemort is right. Also, is this where Harry has to be Luke Skywalker and decide not to kill lest he become a Voldemort himself? I'm not buying that for 1 second. Dumbledore knew that Bellatrix would kill Sirius, Harry would run after Bellatrix, Voldemort would appear in this very hall, so he took the exact chimney he needed to take to appear just in time. Bellatrix does not need to say where she's going to make this chimney work, which, as we all remember, was a hilarious aspect of the Flu Network back in Chamber of Secrets. Hey, Harry, mind using a spell? Maybe take out Voldemort right now while he's occupied with Dumbledore? Now this is f***ing thrilling. This puts anything in any of Lucas's prequels to shame. This is how you stage and film a big showdown duel. It's just too bad about the 2 hours you had to sit through to get to this moment.
And you'll never know love or friendship.
The power of love kills the demon cliche. Also, this is probably why Snape was a poor instructor for that whole get Voldemort out of your mind training, because he too suffers from that you'll never know love or friendship thing. This movie is indirectly a dick to Snape.
You're a fool, Harry Potter.
So is Voldemort protected by this mist that's flying around? Because he's visible. Why doesn't anyone kill him right now? And if the mist is protecting him, why doesn't he use this more often?
I know how you feel, Harry.
You don't.
I know how you feel, you can't possibly know how I feel cliche.
By distancing myself from you, you might be more protected.
Bullshit reason for not telling Harry obviously important details is bullshit. 4 seconds of logo. Why did Harry and Dumbledore wait around at the Ministry after the big fight with Voldemort for the dozens of news crews to show up? Especially if he's going to be ushering him away from the press like he doesn't want Harry to go through that pressure. I mean, damn. Storm clouds in London. Better go to the window to witness this extremely rare occurrence. These 3 smoke monster guys destroy a bridge that everyone conveniently runs off before it sinks into the water.
Harry Potter. Who's Harry Potter?
Why is Harry reading the magic newspaper containing moving pictures in a non-magic public-ass place?
A couple nights ago, I could have sworn I saw a picture of me.
That's what I'm saying!
Hey, I was wondering...
11. That's when I get off.
Damn, that's specific. Billboard irony. Well, if it isn't that wand blocker Dumbledore, wanting to talk to Harry after spending the entire previous year not talking to Harry.
The tale is thrilling, if I say so myself. But now is not the time to tell it.
Because reasons.
Actually, sir, after all these years, I just sort of go with it.
You go with it, despite the fact that no one has ever taken you to the Hufflepuff to stick your Slytherin in someone's Gryffindor.
Wands out, Harry.
Oh wait, maybe I underestimated Dumbledore. Blood drips from the ceiling to let character know to look up cliché. Blood tasting. Come on, did this guy really not know his feet were sticking out of the chair? Also, how did licking the blood drop from Harry's head tell Dumbledore, better give that chair a closer look?
So I never stay anywhere more than a week.
Then how did Dumbledore know where to find— oh, f***ing forget it.
Even more impressive when one considers she was Muggle-born.
That's racist.
One of my best friends is Muggle-born. She's the best in our year.
And yet you keep getting all the credit.
Your mother was one of my absolute favourites. Look, there she is.
Wait, just a minute ago you said—
the Muggles who own this place are in the Canary Islands.
But now we're supposed to believe that you have pictures of all the people who are important to you? One of them just happening to be Harry's mom sitting here in this Muggle house? Also, you said—
I never stay anywhere more than a week.
So that means you're carrying around 19 framed pictures to a new place every week?
You no doubt know of his older brother, Sirius, died a few weeks ago.
Harry's in the news everywhere because of the showdown at the Ministry of Magic, which is where Sirius died. So how does Slughorn know that Sirius died but not know that Harry was there when it happened?
Professor Slughorn is going to try to collect you, Harry.
And that's all I need to say about that.
That's why he's returning to Hogwarts. And it's crucial he should return.
But I won't tell you why until much, much later, if at all.
I fear I may have stolen a wondrous night from you, Harry.
Magical cockblocking. Dumbledore's a dick. Is there ever a time when this pan isn't getting magically scrubbed in the sink?
Make the unbreakable vow.
Franchise waits until the 6th movie to mention the unbreakable vow thing, which is no doubt super important, but not really. Also, if an unbreakable vow exists and is so powerful, why not use it to do something impossible? Like, I vow to impress Kate Upton with my considerable math skills.
And if Draco should fail, will you yourself carry out the deed?
Movie is jumping up and down trying to tell you everything about the ending right here in the first 20 minutes, which makes you wonder why they bothered with the other 2 hours and 10 minutes, but whatever. Foreshadowing. You are amazed.
The Dark Lord has ordered Draco to perform.
Her will.
How did the glowing magic wrist thing know that this was the end of all the vows? Dick shop. Hey, let's go into the bombed out former wand store so that plot can happen. Brilliant.
Is it me or do Draco and Mummy look like two people who don't want to be followed?
Okay, first of all, Draco would clearly have seen you assholes since you literally just walked into this place from the same street before saying this. And second, are there people who want to be followed? Also, does every single plot point in the Harry Potter universe hinge on someone overhearing something or being in the right place to see something at the right time? Also, why do the Malfoys walk to this super secret meeting place out in the open where anyone can see where they're going? Don't they have the ability to magically transport like we've seen all the good guys do in this series? I'm just saying, if I had been Voldemort in this series, I would have won. City planners made it amazingly easy to eavesdrop on people no matter where they go in their own house. How did they get up there on— oh, never mind. You'd think that would be one of the first tasks when calling a secret meeting. Shoulder troll.
What's a raxbat?
They're invisible creatures. They float in your ears and make your brain go fuzzy.
Oh, cool. What?
So what was Draco doing with that weird-looking cabinet? And who were all those people?
And why did I wait all the way until now to ask these questions?
It's happened. He's one of them.
Pronoun game.
What a pathetic excuse for a school.
Evil Harry Potter is right. Apparently Malfoy can just stay on the train with a whole car to himself without anyone noticing or caring. Why is Luna still on the damn train? You've got to be kidding me with this shit. Thankfully, Luna also just happens to be wearing super secret 3D magic glasses that allow her to find Harry.
How do you know where I was?
Raxperts. Your head's full of them.
Yeah, but you didn't notice that until you walked into this car for absolutely no explained reason. Why is Harry's nose still bleeding? Didn't Malfoy kick him like an hour ago? Then Luna fixed his nose, and now he comes in with this thing, like it just happened or something?
What have I missed?
Sorting Hat urges all to be brave and strong in these troubled times.
Since when does the Sorting Hat have important things to say, and do anything other than tell people what house to go to? And here's where I point out the avalanche of convenience that leads Harry to the Half-Blood Prince's book, capped off with the oh-so-clever, one old book, one new book, standoff with Ron. F***ing bravo, you maestros. Only girls are inexplicably drawn to the love potion. All they want to do is get married and have kids. They should, in fact, just drop out now and find a husband before they turn into old maids.
Liquid luck. Desperately tricky to make, disastrous should you get it wrong.
But there is a way to make it, so why aren't there gallons of this shit? And let's say Voldemort had some of it, and Dumbledore had some of it. Who would the luck potion favor then?
One sip and you will find that all of your endeavors succeed.
My only question is, the f*** haven't we heard about this potion or seen it used dozens of times already during the trials and tribulations these assholes have endured? And don't give me that it's tricky to make shit either, like this series has always done with rare magical items. Something this useful would have been mass-produced by now.
Crush it, don't cut it.
No, the instructions specifically say to cut.
And why is that? Was the book translated from Sanskrit or something? Why is the textbook's recipe wrong? Dumbledore asks Harry if he's into Hermione and then dismisses the topic as soon as Harry says he isn't. Because, let's be honest, that was for you, the audience, and not for anyone actually in this scene. Dumbledore's memory of his first meeting with Tom Riddle is so vivid he remembers a photograph of a place that just happens to be of major importance to the entire story.
I can speak to snakes too. They find me. Is that normal for someone like me?
Dumbledore must have left out as part of the memory where he completely and utterly disregarded this question.
Did I know I just met the most dangerous dark wizard of all time? No.
But how?
You see, Professor Slughorn possesses something I desire very dearly.
But I'm not going to say what it is yet because screw you. That's why.
You said Professor Slughorn will try to collect me.
Yeah, what the f*** did you mean by that?
Do you want me to let him?
Wait, you know what the f*** he meant by that? Malfoy always has an apple on hand, just in case he needs to eat it and look like even more of an asshole. Why does one team's Quidditch tryouts have such a large spectator turnout? And why is Hermione here instead of studying? I know she likes Ron in the romantic way, but still, she didn't even bring books.
Keepers need to be quick, agile.
Discount Danielson.
Think you could introduce me to your friend Granger? Wouldn't mind getting on a first-name basis, know what I mean?
Dude, you're the handsomest guy in all of Hogwarts. You can't work up the courage to talk to Hermione? She's a little bunny, and you're a bear, and you're looking at these claws and these fangs, and you're like, how do I kill the bunny? Okay, movie shows us Hermione looking at Ron, then the other keeper tryout dude, who is obviously looking back and flirting, and then cuts to the wide shot to show you how ridiculously impossible it would be for all that eye contact to happen. Okay, first of all, here's the Harry Potter universe again, giving us the finger regarding the need for wands to do magic. Second of all, cheating. This is an awful small sample size to judge your keepers. I mean, a couple of throws decides who's going to be on the team? Shouldn't this process be at least a week, with lots and lots of chances seen before you make your decision?
Who's the Half-Blood Prince?
Roll credits.
Does anyone fancy a butterbeer?
No, I've been to your wizarding world and I had your butterbeer, and it's disgusting. Cream soda crossed with marshmallow crossed with 15 pounds of sugar. You turned sweet into a swear word.
You'd be welcome too, Granger.
And f*** you, Ron.
Good to see you, Wallenby.
Haha, he can't remember Ron's name. Classic.
I want him not to touch it.
Major plot thing happens at the exact same time Harry and company leave the bar. None of these students with magical powers do anything while this girl is hovering in the air.
Get back, all of you!
Good thing Hagrid just happens to be here.
Why is it, when something happens, it is always you three?
Were you not briefed on how they were just minding their own goddamn business?
I think Miss Bell is lucky to be alive.
It's pretty lucky that every student at Hogwarts has survived every single attempted murder since year one. Might be because there's magic for everything.
Hermione's got nice skin, wouldn't you say? As skin goes, I mean.
I've never really thought about it.
Liar.
If the monster existed, it was buried deep within.
Then why did you cast such a creepy kid to play Tom Riddle in the Dumbledore flashback? Seems to me the monster not only existed, but was right on the damn surface. You get the sense that Luna's the Lady Gaga of this group. Maybe like she's just being weird for the sake of being weird. We're in the 6th movie and Quidditch is somehow still a big deal. Like Voldemort is out there and recruiting people and readying for war. But we still need to watch Quidditch matches in this movie.
Shouldn't put it in.
But it took Luna Lovegood's keen eyes to even bring up the idea that you put something in his drink earlier. You didn't tell Ron about it until she started opening up her weird yap. Have we seen Hermione and Ron joking with each other, touching each other, any kind of clue that they were attracted to each other? There's absolutely no chemistry between them. Just because a book or a movie says two people are going to be together doesn't mean the attraction was there all along. Hogwarts is big enough for Harry to have to do a bit of looking around in order to find Hermione, but small enough for Ron and Kissy Pants to just traipse right by on accident. It's Ron Weasley! Magic makes the human component in the book filing largely unnecessary.
That's Romilda Vane.
Man, is this whole movie going to be Love Actually?
Hey! She's only interested in you because she thinks you're the chosen one.
Okay, A, he is. And B, he's only interested in her because you just pointed her out as a possible date. Someone, or something, ate the apple and was an asshole. Also, why do the evil forces need to test their magic teleportation cabinet that obviously was built for this very purpose? Also, I guess this is something that takes an entire f***ing school year to learn. You know, so we can go through all the damn teen angst this movie has to offer.
Cormac, that's who you invited.
I know, right? He's already in the Slughorn Club. He was coming here tonight regardless.
You've just bought yourself a month's detention, McLagan.
This is a private party and not a school function, and vomiting is a month's detention? You gotta be shitting me. I believe it was Snape in the earlier movie who somehow knew Harry was eavesdropping on the teachers outside Dumbledore's office, right? And said this conversation is no longer private, right? But here, no idea he's being listened to surreptitiously.
Unbreakable vow. You sure that's what Snape said?
Harry waits until they get on the train to discuss the thing he overheard. Did he just keep this information to himself, thinking, man, if only we could get on a train and I could finally discuss this?
What happens if you break an unbreakable vow?
I thought the very meaning of the term was that you physically could not break it. Plenty of magic to go around during a time when everyone's scared of a massive threat. We can't protect the children, but we can make cake toppers dance. So we got that going for us.
Perhaps Harry's right, Remus. I mean, to make an unbreakable vow.
These people can't just find out from Dumbledore that Snape's allegiance to his vow is part of his double cross. Is there any reason they don't have the understanding of this shit that Albus does?
He's a vanishing cabinet.
A vanishing cabinet?
I know, right? Why haven't we ever heard of these things before? No franchise in history gets more mileage out of making shit up as they go along than this one does. So, two badass wizard adults struggle with the fire after Harry jumps through, and then Ginny just runs by like, tra-la-la, are you f***ing kidding me? Any spells you could cast to stupefy Harry and Ginny and maybe apparate Harry to Voldemort? Especially since you can't kill them because of the stupid save them for Voldemort rule. Why didn't they do that in the first place? Why is the family that uses magic to scrub pans and move cake toppers worried about a simple fire? Can't they just magic up themselves a new shoe house?
Confused? I'd be surprised if you weren't.
Since I've been intentionally keeping crucial information from you.
But why would he tamper with his own memory?
Yeah, why stop at tampering? Surely there's a spell that could make you forget something completely.
I think I love her.
Well, brilliant.
Why is it that when someone is obviously acting strangely in this world, no one immediately thinks curse or charm, or that guy might not be Ron at all? Must be Ron getting into the liquor cabinet again. Glug glug.
Do you think she knows I exist?
I bloody well hope so. She's been snogging you for 3 months.
Snogging? Who are you talking about?
You mean Ron's been playing the pronoun game this entire time? Geez, this was a long con version of it. Fortunately for Harry, Ron gets stung by some kind of weird love potion that gives him the perfect excuse to get back into Slughorn's good graces.
And for the record, I've always found him interesting.
Love how all the teachers are just silently absorbing the teen romance drama unfolding in front of them, as though there aren't more important topics to discuss or things to do. Draco has no peripheral vision or spatial awareness whatsoever to not see Harry right now. Also, I know Draco's been doing this a lot this year, but what convenient timing for him to walk by mysteriously just as Harry is walking alone mysteriously. A reminder, it's past Christmas, and Draco's vanishing cabinet experiments have only graduated from apple to small bird. Why was the vanishing cabinet 6th on the list of all Voldemort's potential Hogwarts Harry defeat plans? Doesn't this seem easier than several of the previous plans he's bafflingly gone with ahead of this one?
Stop it, Ron. You're making it snow.
Now magic doesn't even have to be done on purpose to happen? Harry uses a spell he literally just read the name of in a book 5 minutes ago without knowing what it does. Hell, I'm surprised he could even pronounce it correctly on the first try, recalling his ridiculous butchering of Diagon Alley in the second film. So even when someone casts a spell that causes this much blood loss, there's a spell that keeps them alive? Apparently, Harry's allowed to just chill with his friends after nearly committing a murder, and no inquiries are necessary.
You have to get rid of it today.
Or simply don't use the spells out of the book that explicitly say for enemies on it. That would work too.
It's the wrong requirement.
Wait, so after the last movie, they just stuffed this room of requirement full of junk like a warehouse? And not only that, but Draco's been coming here all year to kill birds and teleport apples, but he was allowed in because he really needed it? The f*** is going on here?
We need to hide the Half-Blood Prince's book, where no one will ever find it, including you.
When you see Parallax in this room, you'll understand why this is a bad idea. Just destroy the thing.
Slughorn usually eats early, takes a walk, and then returns to his office.
How many nights did you stake out the Marauders map to know his schedule this f***ing well? Harry just thought of the liquid luck idea like in the last scene, man.
Merlin's beard.
If this character had said Merlin's beard just one more time in this movie, we would have been compelled by common sense to make a bonus round.
Seriously misunderstood creatures spiders are.
Yeah, but in the Chamber of Secrets, this one in particular was going to kill Ron and Harry before the magic car came and saved them. I think these spiders are properly understood. Spider funeral. Also, movie over 2.5 hours long has time for the spider funeral. He's drunk now, so surely he'll start spilling the secrets Harry needs. And what's a guy like me to say about the convenience of that shit when the screenplay already excused it with liquid luck ex machina?
Can you only split the soul once? For instance, isn't 7?
7?
In the near future, this conversation will take place about splitting movies into 7 parts. And all of our souls will be broken that day.
They could be hidden anywhere, couldn't they?
True. But magic, especially dark magic, leaves traces.
I'm assuming that despite the fact they leave traces, you're still going to have to kind of know where they are. And this will still not be in any way easy. Too bad there isn't a way to make some sort of liquid that creates luck for this situation.
It's where you've been going, isn't it, sir? When you leave the school.
Yes. And I think perhaps I may have found another.
F***ing what? You just said.
This is beyond anything I imagined.
So which is it, asshole? You either hadn't imagined it, or you've been investigating it for months.
Forgive my mawkishness, Harry. I'm an old man.
You still look the same to me, sir.
At least since the 3rd movie.
You must obey every command I give you.
Voldemort split his soul into 7 Horcruxes, but he decided that only one of them needed to be an RPG adventure to find. Well, sure, I'm glad that Voldemort kept a nice picture of this place in his orphan room that a memory somehow remembered.
In order to gain passage, payment must be made.
How about just not making it in any way possible for any kind of passage? Was Voldemort planning on coming back here to visit his Horcrux?
There it is. The only question is, how do we get there?
I don't know, apparate maybe? He's calling a boat out of the water, but it's kind of hard to believe that in a world with a spell that makes cake toppers dance, there's not also a spell just to create a boat and plop it right where you're standing.
Harry. What?
How about casting the Aguamenti spell directly into his mouth? Or have him cup his hands? Oh well, I guess there are no options other than to drink the dirty cave water. Army of discount golems. Is this a good time to ask whether the Patronus charm is strictly for Dementors? Couldn't it help in this situation too? Seriously, why did it take this long for the teleporting cabinet thing to work? And just in time for Dumbledore's return from the Voldemort Soul Cave. In a world full of magical bullshit that is completely unnecessary, there is apparently nothing called an anti-eavesdropping spell. They can create invisible train station entrances, fix eyeglasses, and other completely useless shit, like dancing cake toppers. Have I mentioned this movie has magical dancing cake toppers? Because it does.
Don't you understand? I have to do this.
Honestly, leaving the assassination to Draco, who thought this was a good idea? Also, potions can turn people into other people, so why didn't Draco just stay home while Bellatrix drank a potion and pretended to be Draco? She could have ended this really quickly, like on the first day of school.
He doesn't have the stomach, just like his father.
His father casually tried to kill Harry in the Chamber of Secrets, so where does this sudden idea that Lucius doesn't have the stomach to kill innocent people come from?
Avada Kedavra.
Snape is addicted to Dumbledore. Also, since we know later that Snape and Dumbledore planned this, does Snape's soul still break in two after killing him? That's how I heard it works anyway. Kind of a harsh penalty to pay for an agreement like this.
No! He belongs to the Dark Lord.
Wait, you mean she didn't know that Harry was being saved for Voldemort? Then why did she wait to kill him in that wheat field earlier? Also, if he belongs to the Dark Lord, why doesn't Bellatrix just take Harry to him? We know why Snape won't do it, but she doesn't have any reason not to. 27 seconds of logo. I see that the poor-ass Weasleys were able to rebuild their house from the last movie, either through magic or wizarding insurance. I guess we didn't need to worry about that smash and burn job from Half-Blood Prince that didn't matter.
Obliviate.
Aren't Hermione's parents, including Caitlin Stark, going to wonder why they set out so many empty picture frames? Or why the room upstairs has teenage girls' clothes and accessories throughout? And the other muggles who know for a fact they have a daughter? Here's another movie character walking down the center of the damn road instead of either side. It makes for a more symmetrical shot, but also a more mathematically possible death. Part 1.
As inspiring as I find your bloodlust, Bellatrix, I must be the one to kill Harry Potter.
Makes sense to me.
My wand and Potter's share the same core. We can wound, but not fatally harm one another.
What a bunch of bullshit. You make it sound like the wand is actually part of the owner's physical being, and that twin wands know not to kill each other, which can't be true. And besides, we've seen wizards using magic without wands this entire series, and the rules have never been explained once.
If I am to kill him, I must do it with another's wand.
Movie makes this sound like a huge problem, when it should basically be, sure thing boss, I'll just buy another one later. You see, this scene pays off a lot more if the rules of wands were ever covered. Yeah, we get this is a big deal, and Voldemort taking Malfoy's wand means something. But that's the art of storytelling that was lost with the scene when the series decided against saying anything about it. Harry opens the door without checking who's there. The very moment Harry decides to say goodbye to the house and leave is the moment everyone who wants to help him shows up.
So we have to use those means of transport the trace can't detect. Brooms, thestrals, and the like.
The Ministry can't detect when an underage wizard uses flying brooms? Does that mean some normal-ass muggle motherfucker can get on a flying broom and make it work? Also, why didn't they just use a portkey? Or anything they used in the other chapters that Harry was able to use without the Ministry knowing or getting pissed about it?
You ride with Hagrid.
I brought you here 16 years ago when you were no bigger than a bow truckle.
Doesn't Hagrid's connection to Harry make him the most likely target in case someone is watching? Can't the Ron Weasley Harry go with Hagrid? Are we still going with the Muggles never see shit angle when it comes to these terribly obvious loud magic motorcycles? Why did all the fake Harry Potters ride out in the same goddamn direction as the real Harry Potter? Why didn't they scatter from the launch site? Movie answers the burning question, what if Michael Bay directed a Harry Potter movie? Hedwig summons his inner eagle and shows up to save Harry. Only problem is, I don't remember Hedwig showing up for anything other than sending messages before this scene. Crossing the wand streams. Bet we won't see this a dozen more times or anything. Wait a minute, that was literally Voldemort? And he can actually get caught in the power lines? God, man, what the hell is happening? No. Also, I guess the most powerful wizard ever is no match for a rocket booster. Why did they choose the Weasley place to hide Harry? One of the most obvious places for him to stay. Whoa, time f***ing out! Why is this woman washing her own pots and pans? We've seen tons of explicit shots throughout these movies of magical self-scrubbing dish and cookware in the kitchen. So this shot is some bullshit. Magic got them here, but can't do much to help with the nearly deadly crash landing.
What creature sat in the corner the first time Harry Potter visited my office in Hogwarts?
Jesus, man, that was like 4 movies ago. And Harry's not a great student. Are you going to kill him if he doesn't remember? Aren't the glasses part of the potion costume? How come Ron still has Harry glasses on, but several other fake Harrys don't? Funny how Lupin and Kingsley were on their guard earlier, making sure everyone was who they said they were. But now, every new arrival is just assumed to be good. Yeah, it's sad, but this family has spells to do the dishes, but not to heal the wounded.
Mundungus took one look at Voldemort and disapparated.
Wait a minute, disapparate means the same thing as apparate? I feel like Dr. Nick when he finds out inflammable means flammable.
Besides, you've still got the chase on you. You've still got the wedding.
What? A wedding? The love of Bill and Fleur needs to have a full-blown ceremony and everything while all the Voldemort goes down? Magic newspaper is so stupid and annoying I don't even want to bother checking the articles for accuracy. It takes 6 people to pitch a tent in this series, and all that implies. Rufus proves that any asshole can come wandering into the highly protected Weasley farm without any resistance.
To what do we owe the pleasure, Minister?
I think we both know the answer to that question, Mr. Potter.
You mean Dumbledore left me something in his will? Of course.
To Ronald Bilious Weasley, I leave my Deluminator. When things seem most dark, it will show him the light.
Okay, so now the Deluminator is something I would probably call an Illuminator. What's with the weird anti-names? And couldn't you have just given him a flashlight? This gathering exacerbates even more the idea of putting on a wedding during this time. Allegiances are iffy, people can change into other people, nothing is certain. Did they ask all these party guests a secret question to prove who they were? What was your high school mascot? The Reigns of Castamere isn't playing right now to signal the impending and shocking bloodbath. Hermione is definitely old enough to be hot now, right? Right?
Word has it that someone talked to her.
Jesus, what are the chances of Harry sitting down next to a newspaper columnist who just happens to be sitting close to a town gossip who just happens to know a name and location of a person Harry needs to see to advance the plot? At this wedding party that defies common sense. How would Harry have gotten this name any other way? What's the point of all the magical protection if these smoky dicks can just come in without the slightest delay? These people walking into the coffee shop are here to kill Harry Potter, but miss their best chance to do it, and inexplicably wait until they're at the counter to pull out their wallets, tipping off Harry well before they attack and giving them better defense options. Also, how the f*** did they know Harry was in here? Movie rips off The Amazing Spider-Man, or inspires it, or shares storyboards with the production team. By the way, what the hell magic spells are they using that don't require any fake Latin to work?
If we kill them, they'll know we were here.
Apparently, they already know you're here, so what the f***ing
Obliviate.
Well, that's the second time that spell has needed to be used, but I can't help but think that this was invented specifically for this movie and to rip off Men in Black.
Maybe you still have the trace on you?
Can't be. Trace breaks at 17 is wizarding law.
How long has this story been going? Harry wasn't 17 when Mad-Eye and everybody came to his house, and now he is. But damn, it's been like, what, a week? They couldn't have waited until Harry turned 17 so he could do magic without the trace?
What's that all about?
Probably Mad-Eye's idea, in case Snape decided to come snooping.
If you say so, it clearly had you guys running out the door, so a master wizard like Snape would definitely have peed his pants and ran.
Oh, men in Revelio. We're alone.
How did that magic spell know not to include Harry and Ron in the search results? Sweet! Part 2, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Flashbacks, the director's cut. Now that 40 minutes have passed, we can officially bring you bonus footage they couldn't show you in theaters a mere 17 minutes ago. Future romantic pairing makes 0 sense, given what I know about attraction. So movie ignores me and puts in this cutesy their hands almost touch while they're sleeping scene, to have Harry Potter fans squee, or whatever we're calling orgasms these days. Harry goes into his dead uncle's room, which gives me pause, and makes me feel sad, because Harry spent all night on the couch when he could have just slept on this bed. What, you found a bed too? Damn, there are beds all over the place. It makes you wonder why they decided to spend time sleeping on the couches and the floor. Oh.
Regulus Arcturus Black.
R.A.B.
You know, R.A.B. Surely you remember that from the quick glimpse of Harry's Hitchhiker's Guide to Horcruxes earlier in the movie. Or that brief mention of R.A.B. in the Half-Blood Prince that came out a year and a half before this one. You remember they were trying to figure out who that was, right? I gotta tell you something embarrassing. I completely forgot. Also, much like everything in this series, something once considered hard to figure out is handed to them on a Harry platter, so that they can advance the Harry plotter.
And now I will be dead long before you read this.
I know I will be long dead before you read, watch, or hear this cliche. Oh good, now someone who could advance the plot even further is hiding in the closet right this very moment.
Did someone take it?
He came in the night. He took many things, including the locket.
He doesn't really have a name, but definitely a penis. Cute piano lessons.
Who was she? The witch, do you know?
No.
But this random newspaper on the floor does. I'm just going to sit down and relax, because Harry's entire quest is going to be solved by plot bots. The movie puts in the guy from The Departed, who you didn't know was also in Braveheart, and expects me not to be distracted by that.
We flush ourselves in.
Yeah, I don't believe it either. This is supposedly some secret way for ministry people to get to their job, but it's a public urinal any regular asshole could walk in and figure out things aren't quite right. Also, traveling by toilet. Also, come on.
Are those?
Muggles. In their rightful place.
How do you know that's not just a f***ed up decoration? You can see shit like this in just about any city, but I never once thought, yep, there's some dead people.
It's still raining inside my office. That's 2 days now.
And there's absolutely no spell in the wizarding world that stops that shit.
But how do I stop it raining?
Try Fenitate Incantatem.
Because not even the asshole upstairs could figure out such an easy spell.
I'd say if we don't locate Umbridge within the hour, we go find Ron and come back another day.
Let me guess. Yep, there she is. I'm pretty sure this Albert dude isn't supposed to be in court, just from the elevator scene earlier when Dolores asked why he wasn't getting out. So now that he's drawing a wand, I'm wondering why there aren't a ton of paranoid witches and wizards instantly slinging disarming spells in his direction. Because after all, Dementors can't get through elevator cages even if they're pretty much smoke. Why did you wait so f***ing long to do this? No one notices the most famous and wanted wizard in the world in the middle of the Ministry of Magic. And are there really no alarms going off right now? Knocked out real husband shows up just in time to see Weasley fake husband kiss his wife. Also, is there any reason why you would show up for work in your undergarments after getting knocked out and left in a room somewhere? Probably after your liver was extracted for the black market? You don't want to magic spell some clothes on? Again, what's the spell? Is it a stupefy spell? A kill spell? A speaking spell? And this guy has horrible aim, despite the fact that I feel like magic should be able to correct any deficiencies. Here's the Terrence Malick portion of the movie. Only one of many reasons why this bullshit is so long as to require 2 parts.
Hurry quickly, in my bag.
Was Hermione waiting until Harry got up to even think about the medicine she's carrying around in her bag? Was she just going to worry over Ron until Harry could do something she easily could have done?
Hermione is on.
What do you think she's asking you to get the medicine for?
What happened? I thought we were meant to be going back to Grimmauld Place.
We were there, but he actually had hold of me, and I knew once he'd seen where we were, we couldn't stay, so I brought us here.
How do you go through the flu network thing and change your mind midway through the journey, but also take 2 friends with you and leave the bad guy behind? Don't your friends have to know where you're going for that to work? This is some bullshit right here. Magic works so quickly and completely, I wonder why they even worried about it. Are there any rules concerning the protective enchantments these wizards are always putting up around themselves? Can they be broken? Or do they just delay a surprise attack? They didn't matter at the Weasley house earlier.
Where am I supposed to find a tent?
Again, this bag with a spell that makes it hold everything is somehow so useful you wonder why there are any conflicts in the magic world.
Incendio.
This is exactly what Hermione in this movie is saying to my heart. Also, how does the fire spell not burn the dried leaves surrounding the amulet?
Defender! Reducto!
After a series of spoken spells, Harry then throws 3 unspoken spells at the amulet, illustrating my #1 problem with this entire goddamn series.
Dumbledore sends you off to find all these Horcruxes, but doesn't tell you how to destroy them. Doesn't that bother you?
It does me! Harry's Flashbacks Part 3, The Extended Prisoner's Cut of Azkaban.
Better?
Right.
But it's my burden to bear, Samwise Gamgee. Movie veers wildly into summer camp / Hunger Games territory for most of the rest of the film, actually. And I don't like it.
You could smell it. My perfume.
What the f*** are you wearing perfume for?
Ron isn't strong enough to apparate.
We'll go on foot.
Well, that seems like some pretty convenient plot device right there. Here begins one of the most infuriating parts of the entire series. The Ron gets jealous of Harry and Hermione rigmarole. The entire part 1 will waste loads of time on this, and camping. If this movie had been a standalone film that didn't depend on every other part before it, it would have made £4 at the box office. Watch it, guys. There's a mimic hiding somewhere in one of these trailers.
In the Chamber of Secrets, you stabbed the basilisk with the sword of Gryffindor. Its blade is impregnated with basilisk venom.
Well, hot damn. That's convenient sanity.
That's why Dumbledore left it to you in his will.
I can maybe see why he didn't spell out the reason for the sword in his will, but couldn't he have at least left a riddle?
You are brilliant, Hermione. Truly.
Except for the perfume thing. I still can't figure that out.
Be you to carry on. Don't let me spoil the fun.
Too late.
You think I'm not listening too? You think I don't know how this feels?
Skip.
Salvio Hexia.
Perfumus finito. I feel badly about what happened between Ron and them. It's going to take a whole movie before I get over it. We can waste time because there's a part 2 dance. Snitch tasting. Hidden words ex machina.
It isn't part of the book. Somebody drew it.
Luna's dad was wearing that at Bill and Fleur's wedding.
That bullshit wedding was beyond helpful to the quest. They never bothered to ask anyone what it meant, so a completely random run-in with the dude from Notting Hill completely saves their ass here.
You know who almost died there?
Haven't you guys long been calling him Voldemort? No longer scared of the name?
Isn't that exactly the type of place he'd be likely to hide a Horcrux?
Why didn't Voldemort bury a Horcrux under an Ask Italian restaurant, or somewhere not obvious? Why was he so sentimental as to where parts of his soul were hidden? Hermione wipes off the one grave that just so happens to have the symbol important to the story. So the plan was to turn the snake into Bagshot and then attack Harry once he got him into the house? First off, the snake is one of the Horcruxes, so that puts one of them in immediate danger. Second off, why don't you just have someone else be Bagshot, who could just Avada Kedavra Harry into oblivion? Snake decides, I'll just go with the jump scare attack. Surely it will catch them completely off guard because they started playing Monopoly after I fell in the hole in the floor. More camping!
I tried to mend it, but wands are different.
It's done. Leave me yours.
And there was no drama about Harry taking Hermione's wand.
I'll take the locket as well.
Is there any reason why they still need to take turns wearing the locket? Couldn't they just leave it in the tent or something? The locket is apparently like the ring in Lord of the Rings, but they aren't transporting it to Mount Doom, they're just camping. There's no need for the burden, at least not right now. Apparently, there's no spell for warmth. A second Dear Jesus returns to Ex Machina the f*** out of this series even more. Need a break in the case, Harry? Here's the glowing deer of requirement. Just think, if Hermione's parents had never taken her out here years ago, they would have never camped here. And Harry would never have gotten a visit from the hollow deer of truth to lead him to the sword of Gryffindor, which is randomly here like a treasure in an RPG. These stories need to go to rehab for how many times they rely on four-leaf clover appearances and rabbit's foot magic to bail the main characters out. Voldemort's smoky drive-in theater plays a PG representation of Ron's worst fear. Also, Ron's worst fear is more likely to make him angry rather than scared, so you should have kept it up with the spiders. And now you're dead, Horcrux. You are so very dead.
And how is it that you just happen to have the sword of Gryffindor?
It's a long story.
Well, no, it's not actually all that long. It's just unbelievable is all.
Christmas morning, I was sleeping in this little pub, keeping away from some snatchers, and I heard it.
Haha, those its have powerful sound, don't they? So here's Ron explaining that the thing Dumbledore gave him not only does funny things with lights, it also takes you wherever you need to go if you hear a voice, let a light pierce your heart, and like Huey Lewis, believe in the power of love. We'll never hear about this thing again because it's just here to keep the plot moving. But man, what a useful thing this could be if it could take them to the Horcruxes. Ah well, I've already forgot about it. Ding!
Just hoped that one of you would show yourself. And you did.
Well, no, Harry was underwater and drowning, so he did not show himself. It's amazing you even came by the pond in the dark, but what the hell do we expect at this point? I'm going to have Ron Weasley's baby's face.
I've always liked these flames Hermione makes.
Me too. Oh, you meant the literal... Got it.
I think he knew that somehow I'd need it to find my way back, and she'd lead me.
If Dumbledore had that kind of foresight, he wouldn't be dead.
You need a wand, don't you?
According to this movie's first scene, casual wand exchanges can lead to STDs, but Harry can pick whatever wand he wants because Doe religion allows it.
It's a blackthorn, 10 inches. Nothing special.
Size queen.
Took it off a snatcher.
Why is this dialogue about wands and snatchers making me anxious?
It keeps cropping up. In Beedle the Bard, in the graveyard in Godric's Hollow.
It was there too.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 tries to break the pronoun game record. Synchronized tea drinking.
It's a symbol.
You mean this?
Yes.
Benjamin Gates will already have this magical Knights Templar bullshit solved.
Well, it's the sign of the Deathly Hallows, of course.
Roll credits.
You're all familiar with the tale of the three brothers.
I have it in here.
Of course you do.
There were once three brothers who were travelling along a lonely, winding road at twilight.
Midnight. Mum always said midnight, but Twilight's fine. Better, actually.
Ron betrays the Harry Potter series by saying Twilight is better. I bet he's even on Team Jacob, the bastard. Also, Ron is only in this movie to boost the runtime through buffoonery that is excessive even by Ron standards. Now the movie's taking a page from Prince of Egypt, because really, what choice did they have after deciding to devote several minutes of screen time to a character reading us a children's story?
Only when he attained a great age did the youngest brother shed the cloak of invisibility and give it to his son.
Wait, did the youngest brother with the cloak of invisibility on? How did he get a wife when he was invisible? The youngest brother had some mad game.
They were angry, you see, about what I'd been writing, so they took her.
The heroes touch a thing and are instantly whisked to a place that just happens to put them in the middle of a bunch of snatchers. I'm just going to take note of how they completely abandoned their bags and backpacks here, because I'm assuming at some later point in time they're going to magically reproduce something that was in one of those bags. Let's pencil in a sin here, and I'll take it off later if I'm wrong. Why are they running? Why not run together and apparate again? Why not use that spell you used in the first goddamn movie that turned Neville frozen? God, these movies drive me f***ing crazy. A f***ing foot chase in a superpowered magical wizard movie should just not happen. The shaky cam is strong with this one. Once again, a magical person does not need to speak the spell out loud in order for it to work. And this one is extremely specific. Harry Potter's Flashbacks Part 4, The Goblet of Remembering.
The Elder Wand lies with him, of course.
Of course, him!
You know who's found the Elder Wand?
You mean, just now? You've been dreaming this for months. What has Voldemort been doing this whole time? And what's with the continued use of you-know-who, you pansy-ass motherfucker? All bad guys are rapists.
Yes. What is wrong with his face?
He came to us like that. Something he picked up in the forest, I reckon.
Ran into a stinging jinx.
Or a crackerjacker, am I right?
Give me a wand. We'll see what her last spell was.
Wands are f***ing iPhones now.
It was in her bag when we searched her.
So you dumb assholes trekked back the 500 f***ing yards you chased them to retrieve the backpacks? Call me skeptical. Well, good thing they keep a lantern handy down in the Malfoy dungeons.
What are you doing here? Dobby's come to rescue Harry Potter, of course. Dobby will always be there for Harry Potter.
Except when he fights a snake, or when the Snatchers decide to take him to the Malfoy house in the first place. But sure, Dobby's there to save Harry Potter. I know Wormtail is stupid, but f*** it. Thankfully, Bellatrix is taking her sweet-ass time interrogating Hermione so that there will still be a Hermione for these dudes to save. Dobby prefers the unhook the chandelier and cause a disturbance method rather than using, elf magic to save the heroes. Of course, the old falling chandelier gag causes Bellatrix to shove Hermione away from herself and toward Harry and Ron. Man, that gag is consistently useful.
Dobby only meant to maim or seriously injure.
Hilarious, but can't elf magic do the same thing?
Dobby is a free elf.
Because of that accidental sock loophole. I will never forget that bullshit. Why do they need Dobby's help apparating at this point? They have wands. They were doing it on their own earlier. The fuck, man? Also, apparating will now take forever, so that Bellatrix has time to throw a knife across the room before it's over. Bellatrix's knife goes into a disappearing vortex of whirlwind bullshit, and still somehow ends up stabbing Dobby with it.
Such a beautiful place.
Tell me about the rabbits, George. Movie expects me to feel horrible for Dobby, and movie is wrong, because the movie is responsible for putting him in this situation. Dobby funeral. Now he's super duper powerful. Now that Voldemort is upgraded, he's no longer a piece of shit run-of-the-mill wizard. Damn, 2 hours, 26 minutes of setup. Awesome. Goodbye, money. Also, half a movie is half a movie. And, oh yeah, 12 minutes of credits. Here's the ending of part 1 in case for some reason you decided, you know what, I think it's about time I went to my first Harry Potter movie when The Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out. It rehashes last movie's ending like we're not already pressed for time here. 22 seconds of logo. Magical military marching formations.
Finally, the conclusion to the half movie you watched nearly a goddamn year ago.
Harry and friends forget to etch Dobby's ex machina accomplishments on his tombstone. Yep, they can use magic to engrave the headstone, but not to bring Dobby back to life. Oh well. Dobby. They're holding the goblin prisoner in this room, but probably didn't even bother to explain to him how the 4 seashells work.
How did you come by this sword?
It's complicated.
Every time someone asks Harry how he got his sword, he tells them it's too long or too complicated a story to tell. But all he has to say is, a hologram deer showed me the way, and in the magic world, I guess that would earn a respectful nod.
The sword presented itself to us in a moment of need.
We're still debating why that bastard sword waited so damn long in our moment of need. We camped for days, went to Godric's Hollow and fought a snake, and camped another day before it finally said, shit, they need me. Also, is this a good time to ask why this sword was ever created in the first place? Godric Gryffindor actually said to himself, magic, magic everywhere, but I need a sword to kill some fools.
Who's the acquaintance?
A Hogwarts professor. As I understand it, he's now headmaster.
Either you don't know that person's name is Snape, or you just did a horrible job protecting his identity.
Are you thinking this Horcrux and Bellatrix's fault?
In the last movie, Bellatrix went crazy trying to figure out how they got into her vault, which leads Harry to make a somewhat ridiculous leap that there might be a Horcrux in there too. This is all because Snape put a fake sword of Gryffindor in her vault, for reasons I will never begin to understand. Sure, Voldemort might have said, we need to get that sword. It has basilisk venom on it after the events of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, but he has shown time and time again that he's not that forward-thinking or careful or observant.
This was the wand of Draco Malfoy.
Was. Is it not still?
Well, perhaps not, if you won it from him.
Now, in the 8th movie, the series finally explains why using other people's wands can be difficult. I still don't know why Harry was able to use Hermione's wand in the last movie, or why people can't get new wands if theirs break, or why sometimes they need wands and sometimes they don't.
And what do you know about the Deathly Hallows?
Roll credits.
You know one exists. You told him about it.
Part 1's pronoun game usage set a world record, and Part 2 drives it into overkill. I don't even care if he can refer to only one person.
If it's true, what you say, and he has the Elder Wand, I'm afraid you really don't stand a chance.
The guy who just said you have to win the wand in order to control it believes Voldemort can control the Elder Wand after stealing it from a dead Dumbledore. Where in the f*** did they manage to get a Bellatrix hair? Was it on Hermione's clothes after Bellatrix tortured her? Was this convenient as shit? Or are they saying Hermione had the wherewithal to take one from her before they went into that Dobby portal? Haha, because Hermione's never worn heels before, or something. Not sure why tripping is funny or logical here, but I guess we need some way to show that they might get caught as imposters.
Madame Lestrange, would you mind presenting your wand?
And why should I do that?
Instead of just presenting Bellatrix's real wand, which they have, they go with the these aren't the droids you're looking for plan, which granted works, but still, overcomplicated plan is overcomplicated.
Imperium. Very well, Madame Lestrange.
We're in the magic world where people can change into other people and do all sorts of magic spells, so it's weird that this goblin behind the guy who just got roofied decides, well, this story seemed like bullshit to me, and my boss demanded the wand and completely changed his mind for no reason, but f*** it. They don't pay me enough to argue. Also, wouldn't that mind control spell come in handy a number of times previous to and succeeding this occasion? 3D justification.
The thief's downfall washes away all enchantments.
But only after the spectacular 3D roller coaster ride. Ah, Smaug! Wait, despite the fact that the thief's downfall stopped the cart and dumped them out, it doesn't lock them in some magical wall of some sort?
They've added the Gemino curse. Everything you touch will multiply.
And that's their last defense? Thing multiplication? Everything you touch will multiply, but Harry will still somehow make this climb up all the bullshit. Also, why isn't this damn thing behind a series of magical curses and defenses? You know all those protection charms they keep putting around themselves in part 1? Why not those, plus some murdery ones?
Who's got an idea?
I have one. Apparate somewhere not here. Harry Potter mini-villains use the Hobbit school of hiding behind pillars to protect against extremely intense dragon heat method, which works amazingly well in both movies. Dragon is, for some reason, totally okay with these three little humans riding his spikes. And none of the Muggles saw the obvious dragon destroying roofs and flying over London, because Muggles are the least f***ing observant species on the planet in these movies.
Now!
And that dragon was never to be seen again. I heard it became an accountant. It married that other forgotten dragon from Goblet of Fire, I hear. Aqua flashback.
He knows. You know who?
You're still you-know-whoing, huh?
Oh, there's more. One of them's at Hogwarts.
Harry's connection to Voldemort is actually a cool plot point that has been developed well over the series, but only just now does it tell Harry where the next Horcrux is, because they had no idea where to go after the bank heist.
We've got to plan, we've got to figure it out.
Hermione, when have any of our plans ever actually worked?
Like 100% of the time. I'm fine with 2 naked male torsos, and it's smart because those clothes are wet. They could catch pneumonia, and there's not a spell for that. So I'm kind of sinning the fact that Hermione is not smart in this scene. Also, how are there dry clothes from anywhere that they can change into after being submerged? Furthermore, why isn't there a magic spell to dry clothes?
You're the one who sent Dobby.
With the amazing timing of a plot convenience, I might add.
What makes you think you can believe anything my brother told you? In all the time you knew him, did he ever mention my name?
Right, not mentioning a seemingly creepy brother's name totally means everything Dumbledore ever said is now suspect. Gotcha.
You know what to do.
Where have you sent her?
You'll see soon enough.
Because this is an important journey I just called a suicide mission, I want to keep this spoiler-free.
I don't remember this on the Marauders map. That's because it never existed till now.
So, a magical painting of Dumbledore's sister just dug a secret tunnel to Hogwarts. That I am totally down with, and have no questions about. What I am concerned with is why this kind of magic couldn't have been used in so many other situations before this, but I guess I should just expect it by now. Sure, the guy who's supposed to be incognito right now. Let's cheer and clap when he shows up. That can't possibly raise suspicion.
It seems, despite your exhaustive defensive strategies, you still have a bit of a security problem, Headmaster.
Because, as you see, we managed to sneak in all the Weasleys. Again, here's some awesome magic being conducted without a wand. Wands are important, then they aren't, depending on what the story needs.
I know that many of you will want to fight.
High school intercom announcements.
Give me Harry Potter. You will have 1 hour.
Arbitrary deadlines.
Lead Miss Parkinson and the rest of Slytherin House from the hall.
Exactly where is it I'll be leading them to, Mom?
The dungeons would do.
Patriot Act. Also, this goes back to what we said a long time ago about Slytherin House. If you're picked by the Sorting Hat to go there, you're basically being told you're an evil person. And in this case, it's all the Slytherin.
Do what you have to do. I'll secure the castle.
I'll make sure none of those painting assholes can dig a secret tunnel in here like Dumbledore's dead sister did.
Hogwarts is threatened! Man the boundaries! Protect us!
Fuck me. Hogwarts had a statue army this whole time and never once used it all the times Hogwarts needed protecting?
I've always wanted to use that spell.
Seems to me you've had plenty of opportunities, freaking gift wrap for you in the previous 7 movies, but whatever.
There you go, Maxima.
Each one of these professors has to shoot their own protection spells into the air, because their magic only covers a 5-foot by 5-foot square area, and all sorts of Voldemorts can come in if you don't get good coverage. Also, super powerful looking force field spell makes its first appearance in the final f***ing battle, despite appearing to be the perfect spell for several previous perilous incidents. Protection charm sex. Kelly MacDonald isn't my ghostly girlfriend, or having my ghost babies, or allowing me to play Egon Spengler with my fully functional proton pack in this scene.
You're the Grey Lady.
That's racist.
Another swore to destroy it many years ago.
Tom Riddle.
But he lied.
Back then, why would you give the diadem to anyone who would want to destroy it? It didn't have Voldemort's soul in it. It was just a freaking diadem.
He defiled it with dark magic!
Yeah, so why did you give it to him again? I'll give him a perfectly good diadem. Question mark. Profits. Ron can speak Parseltongue because finale.
Harry talks in his sleep.
F*** you. Ron makes Hermione take on the basilisk tooth stabbing duties because that's how a man behaves. Would the flooding happen anywhere they decided to stab the Horcrux, or is it just because they're in the Chamber of Secrets? And if the water isn't going to drown anyone, what's the goddamn point? Yep, totally feels natural when you ram it down our throats like this. It's weird no one ever thought of a mass-killing curse, like a plural Avada Kedavra, for situations just like this. Movie thinks we don't know Neville survived the fall, and movie is sadly mistaken. Trolls! Stone soldiers! Excitement? Kingsley's spell is exactly the same bullshit that turned Jessica Alba and the others into the Fantastic Four. Ew.
Bloody hell, we'll never find it on this.
There he is. Just there.
Brilliant.
What was the it Ron was referring to? Was it Harry Potter? Because Harry Potter was easy as f*** to find on this map. If not Harry Potter, what it were they looking for? Surely they didn't expect to find the diadem on the map. I guess I'm confused. Oh well. Also, sending the Marauders map here for not showing Draco or his buddies anywhere when they are definitely behind Harry Potter at this moment. So I guess Harry really needed to get into this rumor requirement, but then so did these assholes following it. Whatever, I guess, but it seems like the rumor requirement's just taking all comers at this point.
Why didn't you tell her?
Who's her?
Don't be a brat.
If by do him you mean make love to, then that's probably okay in Voldemort's book. But you cannot kill Harry Potter because of the stupid rule that only he can kill him. So this scene just got robbed of its tension. How does it feel? Legitimately surprised there's not a spell for quickly climbing chair piles. Oh look, brooms! Right when we need them!
If we die for them, Harry, I'm gonna kill you!
If we die, I'm gonna kill you, cliché. The power of 3 flaming Voldemort heads cannot penetrate the room of requirements doors. About now, Voldemort is wondering why he didn't stick a few Horcruxes in other countries, or in random places with no meaning, or movie theaters playing Mars Needs Moms, so they would never be found.
Come, Nagini. I need to keep you safe.
If this asshole didn't talk to his snake so damn much, Harry would never have figured out how important it was. Also, why not send Nagini to France while they attack Hogwarts? It could curl up at the French Open and take in a Nadal match while its master wins. Life, I guess. Remember in Order of the Phoenix when Voldemort was planting false visions in Harry's mind so he could set a trap? What happened to that? We don't know any spells that work against giants. Run! The Battle of Hogwarts being relegated to a third-tier action scene, something we see flashes of as the characters we're following run past it, is really f***ing annoying. Incredible timing as Aberforth shows up at the exact same place as Harry right at the moment a flying ton of Dementors show up. Movie series that has shown us that magical dudes can often tell when they're being eavesdropped on, especially by students, decides, f*** it, I can't think of any other way to convey this exposition between 2 of the most powerful wizards ever.
While you live, the Elder Wand cannot truly be mine.
We've seen Voldemort doing all sorts of magic with this wand, but because it's resisting him, he decides to kill Snape, believing that the wand will truly be his after that. But then what? What is it that he can't do right now that he could do with a more compliant wand? This is the more power problem at work, because the movie can't sufficiently tell us what more power means.
And here, no problem killing Snape with the same troublesome wand. He didn't even have to say a spell.
Funny story. So I went to the bathroom and went into a completely different auditorium showing some movie where some dude's tears were suddenly magical and being harvested by... Oh, wait. This is the right auditorium? Man, if only I knew which Weasley this was, I might feel a bit bad about this. Voldemort gave me an ultimatum to fight him, but I think I have some time to check out Snape's tears so I can find out he was a good guy after all. Geez, how many tears did he get from Snape? I think he got like maybe 1 tear or 2, but not a whole 5-hour energy drink full. Snape's tears posthumously absolve him of any wrongdoing so the audience, Harry, won't hate him.
Gryffindor!
Sorting Hat is a dick to Snape's love life. Snape said Harry had his mom's eyes, but his are blue and hers are pretty brown. Maybe he was talking about shape? Or prescription?
Hi, I'm Lily.
Let's get married later and rub Snape's face in our love. Voldemort based his plot to kill Harry Potter on this witch's prophecy. And as likable as she is, she's awful at predicting, and it's incredible he took her so seriously.
He has her eyes.
All of a sudden.
There will come a time when Harry Potter must be told something, but you must wait until Voldemort is at his most vulnerable.
Why the f***? Also, I don't know how Snape was supposed to know when Voldemort was at his most vulnerable, but what was he waiting for? He didn't even bother to put memory tears in a special jar just in case he died before Harry could get to him. Luckily, Harry was around to witness the attack and he didn't die too fast.
A part of Voldemort's soul latched itself onto the only living thing it could find.
What? Since when does Horcrux manufacturing work that way? Every single Horcrux Harry has destroyed has been inside some sort of object, not a living thing. And doesn't Voldemort actually have to do something with his soul to make a Horcrux? Why did it try to make a Horcrux immediately after he killed Lily? Also, I don't know if we sent it before, probably did, but f*** it. This spell Lily put on Harry should have been cast on every damn person at Hogwarts before this battle started. This flashback is going on 5 minutes at this point. The power of boners turns your Patronus into the woman you love's Patronus. Also, that explains how Harry ended up finding the Sword of Gryffindor, but all the stuff we said about that still stands. There's no reason why that took so long.
There's a reason I can hear them.
Dog whistles?
The Horcruxes.
Oh. Man, Hogwarts is trashed. I guess I should feel lost, but I know they'll use the same spell that fixed the Weasley's house, so I guess the destruction isn't anything I should really care about. Snitch tasting! Man, good thing he never lost that snitch during all the bullshit this movie and the last, where he could have and should have lost that snitch.
You've been so brave, sweetheart.
Actually, that's all he's been. All 8 movies, bravery is really the only heroic characteristic he's displayed. All the solutions have either been found by his friends or handed to him on an ex machina platter.
Why are you here? All of you.
We never left.
Well, that's creepy. So, you saw me masturbate? I guess it would have caused some serious spirit world marital discord if Snape had been allowed into Harry's people who loved him reunion. Man, this guy has been mega patient. He's waited through an entire 10-minute Snape's tears tell the whole story sequence, plus a Harry touches base with his ghost relative scene, and he's just standing here. Deleted scene includes Voldemort skipping rocks across a pond waiting for Harry to show up.
No sign of him, my lord.
What do you mean? He's been talking to his ghost loved ones for like 5 minutes. How have you not seen him? And he shows up like 30 seconds after the dude says this.
Harry? No! What are you doing here?
Better question. What are you doing here? Alive. Held prisoner. Unlike all the other fools, they just simply kill. Why is this asshole not 2,000 miles away by now? It's at times like these when I wonder why Voldemort doesn't do that throat-slitting thing he did to Snape. Seems like he'd be unable to recover from that. Although, to be fair, Harry shouldn't be able to recover from this either. So it goes. This is basically the Matrix ending. Hero has to die to save the world. Or the Iron Giant ending? Or the Big Hero 6 ending? Or the Jesus ending? Wow, Magic Heaven looks fake as shit. Speaking of Magic Heaven, do they have their own separate heaven from the Muggle one? Because if so, even God's racist in this universe. Well, that's f***ing disgusting. Makes you wonder what's going on in Magic Hell. Well, it's a good thing that when Harry went to Limbo, Dumbledore could be there to share his experience so he could tell Harry the choice he has.
Professor, what is that?
Something beyond either of our home.
Oh.
Where would you say that we are?
Discount Cloud City?
You were the Horcrux he never meant to make, Harry.
Those crazy accidental Horcruxes.
I have to go back, haven't I?
Oh, that's up to you.
So Harry was a Horcrux and Voldemort killed Harry, which means that puts him in limbo somehow. It's not really explained all that well, so sit back and relax and just go with it, right? I mean, this is the most ex machina of all the ex machinas, really, and that's saying something.
Help will always be given at Hogwarts, Harry, to those who ask for it.
Unless you're Harry Potter in the first 7 movies, of course.
Words are, in my not-so-humble opinion, our most inexhaustible source of magic.
You mispronounce frustration?
Dead.
Voldemort can't tell when he's being lied to by anyone in this entire series. Neville runs by the cause of all the problems in these movies and doesn't immediately destroy it. Oh, I see. Hagrid was kept alive, so this dramatic carrying Harry's body scene had more impact. That's stupid. Why isn't this asshole 3,000 miles?
Harry Potter is dead!
Voldemort at the Improv.
We can find a place for you in our ranks.
I'd like to say something.
Voldemort allows this.
He's still with us, in here.
Voldemort continues to allow this. Neville brings a sword to a magic fight. Voldemort doesn't go into a rage smoke monster and track down Harry Potter immediately, like he did in Part 1, when he got caught in the stupid power lines. Later we see him do this
So why couldn't he appear directly in front of him and Avada Kedavra his ass?
There's a basilisk fang, so why did he tell Dumbledore he had nothing to kill the last Horcrux with?
The snake's still alive, and I've nothing to kill it with.
Man, this Elder Wand just won't obey Voldemort, will it? Oh look, more wands crossing streams. I'll start with that. I'm working my way up to more dangerous things, but you get the point.
Not my daughter, you bitch!
This line combines one of the best lines from Aliens with the awkward title of that Sally Field movie, Not Without My Daughter, only without the without. Bellatrix suffers from the laughing fits that occur when you're doing battle at the end of a movie and series. The deleted scene includes the part where the mice eat all the pieces, and then the cats eat all the mice. Director said, that's overkill. Also, Mama Weasley so easily dispatches Bellatrix that I'm not sure whether to be impressed with Mama Weasley or disappointed at the supposedly historically badass Bellatrix. Also, Molly knows there's an audience clapping right now, so she properly stops the movie to gloat over her kill. Voldemort ignores the killing curse in favor of a good old-fashioned magical fistfight. It's like you got 7.5 movies of a decent magic series that ultimately inexplicably goes with the Shanghai Knights ending. F*** off. This movie's gonna tell me after all that f***ing bullshit we've seen that wands are once again crucial for performing magic? Isn't there at least a zap my wand to my hand spell? Harry and Voldemort set a bad example on how to celebrate Christmas. Also, I feel like I've seen this before. Not sure where. I can't quite place it. Neville Ex Machina, or is it Longbottom Ex Machina? Whatever sounds dumber. Fall to post-mortem, and the unlikely romantic pairings continue.
The wand never belonged to Snape. It was Draco who disarmed Dumbledore that night in the astronomy tower. From that moment on, the wand answered him. Until the other night when I disarmed Draco.
And somehow this wand decided to obey Voldemort and put me in limbo when he shot me with it. But bygones. Harry does the right thing. Also, yeah, I get it. Absolute power corrupts absolutely and all that. But we never really saw what this wand could do. Or that it had some allure that inherently caused evil. And I'm still trying to figure out the rules of wands, and we're nearly done with this shit. Movie skips over Voldemort's 2 resurrections to go straight to the happy ending. Ah! Terrible 19 years later makeup. I still don't believe nobody ever sees this. Hermione's kids are a reminder that Hermione and Ron had sex at least twice.
Dad, what if I am put in Slytherin?
19 years after their folly was exposed, Hogwarts still separates kids into 4 distinct groups so that the hate can continue.
What if I am put in Slytherin?
Albus Severus Potter.
Oh my god. What's worse, the actual name of this child or the stilted expositional way it's jammed into this scene? With 12 more minutes of credits, I think you could create an entire movie's worth of credits with these 8 movies.
I feel thin, sort of stretched, like butter scraped over too much bread.